we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna sit 10k off a target, we're gonna blap it really quick, and then we're gonna warp to the run spot. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Outstanding. Okay, stand by.
So hey guys, here's the deal. They got their Prophecy fleet up, and then Razor also has an Oracle fleet. So we should have some interesting stuff about to happen.
So it's going to be like this. We're going to portal through, and at the same time, the triage carriers are going to jump. Just the triage carriers at first. Everyone clear?
Let me see. Oh crap. I think... Will we be able to take on Guardians?
Yeah, they got 4 Guardians. I don't think we should do this.
We can do this.
Don't worry about that.
Now we're gonna fucking play some fun games.
My heart's racing.
Fun, relax. All wings align. Primary is the Dominics in 5, 4, 3, 2. Decloak, decloak, decloak. Torpedoes on the Dominics. Dominics, Dominics.
Orbit on me, micro warp drives on. We're moving.
Secondaries, Vipers, and the Omen.
He's in structure. Take him down.
Dude, that revelation out now.
All units on the rev.
Burn out towards that jump now.
All damps on the damnation, all damps on the damnation. Receptors, stay here and tackle prophecies. This is where we fight.
Alright. So I'm carrying 100 times more than my ship is worth. There were some pirates chasing me. There's one guy chasing me through like 5 different systems. I need to get the fuck out of this system.
This little rock right here is worth about 166 million ISK. For some people this might not be a big deal, but for me, it's huge.
Seller 4.2, pretty nice. Gonna produce 4 of them, 2 days, 19 hours, 11 minutes, 44 seconds. We can expect to make 8 to 10 million around there.
51 out of 56 grid? Okay, good. And we've got 5 modules to fit in here. The ship's speed is actually pretty good. It can hit 4K a second. We're gonna hurt that now by adding on some armor buffer.
Up, success! Yeah. Thanks, dudes.
Yay, this is so much fun.
Oh yeah, such fun. It's almost done now. Like, less than a week. Oh look! Okay,
Whoa!
good. Oh,
Whoa!
shit!
Oh.
Wow! Wow! That is Rixing Kings right there.
Archivian silos down, Archivian silos down. Go, 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 silos down. Portal, portal, primary.
Gate is green, gate is green. Sniper skills to long range utilize BSC. Aggregates idle and green, come on.
Oh shit, how do I warp to something?
E-War drone. All E-War drones on Scott.
Where are you decloaking?
Pax, so will be the secondary. Oh my god, that's a titan! Holy shit!
Let's go, get those fucking bombs out. Red group fire, gold group stand by. Come on, boys. Come on, come on, come on, yeah! Yeah! Fucking sweet.
Welcome back, everybody. A very happy new year. Welcome back to another episode of Event Collides. We've got a very good matchup for you this evening. We have Afterlife versus We Form Volta, which should be an incredible matchup. The whole commentary team here is split over what is actually going to happen and who's going to win it. So I certainly won't be putting any bets on myself. It looks too close to call. I would like to thank our sponsors. We have Plantronics, Coolmaster, CCP, and EveBet as our sponsors again. We've got a wonderful team with us again this evening. Suetonia, who will be producing for you this evening. Obviously, the one and only Mr. Sir Squeebles, who will be hosting. We have Mr. Biohazard at the controls and streaming everything for you. In the commentary team, we have Apothny, Chesser, Elise Randolph, and Gorski Carr. With Chocolate Rain handing out the prizes there for you tonight. And from CCP, the one and only, our very favorite, Mr. CCP Fuzzy, to handle the controls on the CCP side. With that, a brief rundown. Obviously, everybody should be familiar with the format now, but just in case you didn't know, this is a best of 5 Vive V5 using the World Collide setup. And the rules and regulations you can find in more detail on our website, which is www.evetacnt.uk. So if you're not familiar with the rules and how the points exactly work, please feel free to have a quick browse there. And with that, I'm going to hand over to the one and only Mr. Sir Squeebles.
Thank you very much. So this is match 5 of the current season. So far we've seen Hard Knock Citizens versus Shadow Cartel, we've seen Tuskers versus Pandemic Legion, and we've seen Warlords versus Sleeper Social Club. They're all quite good. I think today we're in for another good episode. One point of clarification, so things are constantly changing on Tranquility. Obviously, some parts of the tournament reflect that. The schedule shows Triumvirate versus Afterlife today. However, some things have changed with Triumvirate, and We Form Volta is still the original team from Triumvirate, but they no longer belong to the Triumvirate Alliance. So if you're confused, it's just really a name change, should be all the same pilots, and reflection of the political stirrings on Tranquility. Today, as Nash just said, we have an awesome team, a lot of returning faces. Hi, everybody. First match, it looks like we're going to have Elise and Chester. Elise, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to see how the first match is going to go off. We were talking earlier about who's going to win, and I think everyone's split, so...
Yeah, it was a 50-50. I will say I panicked, and I answered quickly. I'm starting to regret it, but I'm going to stand by my bet because there's no money on it, only pride, of which I have very little left. Chester, how about you? How you doing today?
Can't complain too much, not at work, and getting to watch some wonderful EVE tournaments run by all of you fine chaps and ladies. So I'm in a great mood.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it. We've seen a lot of variety across the setups in previous matches. Today, I'll remind everybody, especially if you're new to this entire format, that each team must submit their setups beforehand, so both teams can see the comps that the other team might field. They're allowed to ban 2. You can find those lists on the eve-nt.uk schedule under the Collides tab. So let me pull that back up real quick. Such a nice looking website, Nash. How did you manage?
Thank you very much. Certainly not my doing. I lack any technical skill whatsoever. I think everybody knows this by now. It's predominantly thanks to James, previously known from EOC TV, and he's done a wonderful job on most of this. The current management is actually with the same chap that looks after the tech for EVT Collides, which is Dwygon.
Nice. Well, it is a great looking website. A lot of functionality. I encourage everybody to check it out if you haven't so far. All right, so back to the comps. We see 7 comps fielded each team. Obviously, the 2 banned out, as I mentioned. Afterlife has had a Sleipnir-based comp and a Typhoon Fleet Issue-based comp banned out from under them. Those are obviously really important hulls that have been used to great effect in previous matches and even in the bigger tournament like the AT. And then We Form Volta has lost access to their Typhoon Fleet Issue comp, and also a comp centered around 2 Orthuses and Cerberus. So, Chester, who do you think got the upper hand with these bans?
You know, it's kind of tough to say. Volta definitely has more of the on-meta picks that we've been seeing in the tournament, you know, with their double Bargas, double TFI looks, while I look at Afterlife, and they have these, like, very interesting comps, like the double Gila comp, this Curse comp Phantasm that we see here right now. I honestly want to say that Volta came out on top with the bans, but I don't want to count Afterlife out because they're very, very good pilots, and some of their comps, while definitely looking weird, can work in the hands of excellent piloting.
Awesome. And Elise, do you just want to touch briefly on We see obviously several comps for armor. We have an Astarte Oneros comp on the Afterlife side. On the Warform Volta side, we have a Vindi Guardian, which we saw, I think it was Warlords of the Deep use quite effectively last episode. Seems like forever ago. What are the main differences here? What do we expect when we see a shield comp come out versus an armor comp come out?
Well, especially is true that the reps have changed a little bit in the last patch. So since the last collides, the format the mechanics, for armor and shield have changed a little bit. Shield can rep a little bit further out now, and you get repped at the beginning of the cycle. Armor a little bit more durable for longer fights. You get repped at the end of the cycle. I think in this format, generally when you feel the shield comp, you lose out on mid slots, and mid slots have a lot of utility in there, but you do gain a little bit of speed. So those are the trade-offs between shield and armor. It looks like Volta went really heavy with the armor comp, so they obviously are really favoring the mid slots that they have. Even their Typhoon Fleet issue setup was completely armor fit, so it wasn't like a kiting setup like their Orther setup was.
Gotcha. Well, luckily, we're going to get to see a great example of that discussion upcoming. We're ready to go to the arena, so with that, I'll send it over. Chester and Elise, have fun.
Alright guys, welcome everyone to EVNT Collides. This is Elise Randolph, joined by Chester. You've got two teams here, the Afterlife and We Form Volta, formerly the Tri-Team. Both really solid tournament veterans. And let me introduce the Afterlife team for you. You'll see them in blue. We've got a Phantasm, a Claymore, 2 Bursts, and a Curse. So obviously in this format you can't have, or maybe it's not obvious, in this format the Curses can't fit Tracking Disruptors. So this is just going to be like a full-on brawling curse with newts and stuff like that. So that should be very fun. Chester, why don't you tell us about the Volta team?
Certainly. The curse can fit TDs, just not scripted TDs.
Not script, sorry.
So the Volta team, really interesting going with a drone-based setup here. Only T1 drones are allowed, so keep that in mind. That being said, though, they have full newt racks, Ishtar, double Ishtar, double Navitas, and an EOS providing armor and skirmish links. And the EOS has newts in the highs as well, so they're very much looking to brawl, get in close with the newts, and let the drones go to work. I'm kind of interested to see if this T1 drone team is actually going to, make it big here, because I haven't seen many drone comps be successful. What do you think, Elise?
Yeah, drone teams are going to be really weird ever since in this format you can only use Tech 1 drones, as you were saying, so it's going to be kind of hard. We've got 10 seconds until the match starts. If you can look at where the teams warped in, they came in at an acute angle, so they're much closer than they wanted to be to each other. So both teams wanted some range, and they're going to be right up on each other.
Match is going to start right now. One little thing, though, Afterlife's burst being way on the outskirts of the fight, I think is going to be a huge, huge plus, because those Navitas, if they get in a little bit close to either the Phantasm, which is Pulse Fit, or the Curse's Newt range, even a Newt Fall-Off, they're going to be in huge trouble. So I like that Afterlife's bursts are playing very, very defensively off the bat.
Yeah, you can see the Afterlife burst is just cycling around to the other side, but the Navitas from Volta are still moving away pretty well.
This is really smart from Afterlife right now.
Damage drones out right now.
Yeah, this is really smart from Afterlife. The Phantasm immediately going for the Navitas. I saw Curse get a Newt cycle off on the Navitas as well, so they're focusing on that Logi backbone right away. Curse just moving away here as it looks like 2 Ishtars are trying to bring it down and tackle it. It's going to be really paramount to see if the Curse can get all of the newting that it can and stay alive, because its ability to do any type of DPS is going to be minimal, and any of its TDs that it may have brought to the field are going to be completely useless against this drone team.
Yeah, this burst pilot, piloted by Dante, is doing really well. He is kiting these drones incredibly effectively. You see these Volta drones just catch up to the burst, and then the burst just pulls away for a little while, and the drones can't apply any damage until he moves around. That's one of the drawbacks of these drones.
Yeah, I have to say, both teams here almost ignoring the larger ships, it looks like, and focusing completely going after the bursts and the Navitas. They're just trying to kill the Logi as fast as they can. I think from the Afterlife's point of view, that's really smart, but from Volta's team, I don't think that they're so dependent on their Logi, and they should probably focus on either the Phantasm or the Curse instead of chasing around those bursts. With
that Curse is going to be just incredibly chaotic, piloted by Randolph's guys. I think Volta definitely need to take this out. But they're losing a Navitas right now. This is not thinking nearly as well as they want to.
Curse. Yeah, he's getting caught by the curse. If he goes down here, the other Navitas
he's
is gone.
gone.
Ooh, that's gone. That's gone here. But, you know, with that said, though, the other Navitas being so close to the curse as well, are they going to lose both here in just a second?
Oh, this drone swarm is landing on them. They're light drones that are hitting Leviathan.
Yeah.
And these ships are really good in pairs, but kind of awful alone. So this guy is going to die real quick.
And right now, it looks like Volta's going to trade both of its Navitas and gain nothing. Their entire drone swarm spent their entire time chasing the bursts of the Afterlife team and had nothing to show for it. The curse is pushing the Navitas off super easily now, and I think that was a huge misstep from Volta that they allowed both of their Navitas to get caught out that hard. The Volta team is still just being kited out and around by this curse, who I have to say, Randolph Sykes is doing an absolutely incredible job cycling the newts, keeping the cap pressure on, and there's the second Logi Dawn now, at least. What are you thinking? This looks like Volta's in trouble.
Well, yeah, Volta are definitely in trouble right now. I mean, they still have Ishtars and EOS, so they've got links and things like that, but I don't know. Starfleet Commander, the captain, is now taking damage. We could see that Volta swapped drones from heavy drones back to medium drones, and now back to heavy drones. So they've been having to pull their drones in and out, trying to get damage applied to this curse. Let's see how long Starfleet Commander's Ishtar can live. If they can trade the Ishtar for the curse just 1-to-1, they'll be in an okay spot. But as you were saying, like as the longer this match goes on, the worse it is without Logi.
Yeah, no, and the curse, trying to hold a curse down, and this curse is a buffer curse, obviously, with the Logi that they have. It's going to be 4 medium newts, and 4 medium newts off a curse, you can't stay near it. It'll newt you down, and unless you can get a good, long, successful tackle with either a scram or a web, all of these heavy drones that this drone-based team has is going to have a difficult time hitting the curse, and even what little damage they can hit, it's going to be wrapped up easily by these bursts right now. This EOS made like a heroic charge to try and maybe grab the curse. It's still just like burning off into space somewhere. I'm not really sure what it's doing.
It looks like a heavy jump. Then Starfleet Commander goes down in the Ishtar. Randolph Sky's still tanking fine. His shields are actually gaining right now. He's at peak shield recharge more or less.
And, I mean, you know, don't forget the curse shield fit is still a Tech 2 ship, and its resist profile, especially with the heated invuln, is actually quite strong. And like again, as I've been saying, unless you can get proper tackle with a scram web, it's really, really difficult to actually apply any of this drone DPS, which of course is marginalized at the get-go because of the Tech 1 drones only.
Nice, and we see Starfleet Commander throwing the good fights in local, kind of capitulating as well. If you look at Mystic Rebel in the Claymore on the Afterlife team, he's actually all up in everyone's business with hams. So he's just spewing hams at people. That's Claymore is not really a ship that you generally consider like a big DPS platform, but that's
curse down.
Curse just eventually just died.
It was eventually caught by EOS, but you know at this point I think it's completely this is completely done. With the Ishtar having no reps and just like trying to run for its life against a Phantasm and a Claymore angrily chasing after it, I don't expect it to live much longer. And the EOS can be kited indefinitely, or I think most likely it can just be perma-tanked by the 2 bursts because the Phantasm can negate the majority of its damage, and this Claymore has an XLASB, so it is what it is.
Yeah, that Claymore is an incredibly tanky ship, even compared to other command VCs. So there we go, another Ishtar down. Just Annie
one sad EOS left. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, how Afterlife having these very interesting off-meta picks, but if flown appropriately, and to Afterlife, from seeing their exploits on YouTube and the battle reports that they link on Reddit, you know that they have a really, really solid backbone of great piloting and great piloting skills. I really think that they can make these very, very fragile types of setups work, and you can see it happen right here.
It wasn't just a cheese strat either. Like they had really solid target calling. The Afterlife did. They spread out very well in a position that they did not initially want to be in. So they reacted perfectly. They executed well, and they just did what they needed to do to get the job done.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, even their warpins right away, Dante and Nika, both of the Logi support pilots on the Afterlife side, warping in at 50 kilometers, starting out very defensively, completely different tone, completely different understanding of what this type of matchup's going to look like when the Volta team warps their entire Logi wing in right with their main group, and they suffered greatly because of it. Curse got some newt cycles off early. The Phantasm was able to burn in, unable to be screened by either of the 2 Ishtars or the very slow EOS, and that was a huge issue right there. The Afterlife had mobility on their side, and they used it convincingly to smash a very slow and immobile team.
Indeed, and as we should mention that the Afterlife cannot take this setup again since they won with it. And Volta can take this Istar team again if they wanted to, but do you think they'd want to after the display that they just had?
You know, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say no for a number of reasons. If you look at what Afterlife is bringing to the table, they have a lot of setups which are very fast, they're very kitey, and like I was saying earlier, we're using heavy drones, especially Tech 1 heavy drones. It's very difficult to get them to apply their damage, and unless you can get that scram web and that sustained tackle on, you're not going to be able to apply any of your DPS, and I think that that's going to be a huge problem. I think that this is one of Volta's weakest setups, and it would be disappointing if they brought it again.
Alrighty, and with that, Afterlife take the first match, and Volta die horribly. And we'll send it back to the Squeebles and the rest of the
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise-canceling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
An excellent first match, I would say. Bit of a shame there for Volta. I think there's plenty of stuff there going on the Twitch chat and also in the background here. I think there would be some very interesting analysis. But before we go to the analysis and a brief chat with Apoth as well, we are going to give away 1 billion ISK of EveBet credit. One of our sponsors, EveBet, give away 10 little packets of 100 million ISK apiece, and Chocolate Rain will give them away to you very shortly if you're one of the first 10 correct answers. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you can stick the answer, correct or incorrect, in the Twitch channel, and the first 10 correct ones will get 100 million ISK of EveBet credit. So, your question is CSM related. Funny enough, it's that season, ladies and gentlemen. So other than Gorski Car and myself, make sure to vote, which one of the EVNT team is running for CSM this year? So the question is, other than Gorski Car or myself, which one of the EVNT team is running for CSM this year. So check your answers in the Twitch chat, providing you've got the correct answer. Chocolate Rain will get in contact with you and give you your winnings, which if you're quick enough you can stick on the next match. With that, I'm gonna go straight to Sir Squeebles and hear what you boys have to say.
Thank you very much. Definitely a good match. This is a best-of-5 format, so still at least 2 more matches to go, and I expect, based on that first one, we'll go further than 3 matches. So a couple of really good points brought up by the other commentators in the break. Gorski, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Just really briefly, you want to touch on something that a lot of us were talking about, which is the drone pick coming off of WeForm Volta. They dropped Valkyrie 1s to start off with. Good decision or bad decision?
I think it was a pretty bad decision, actually. Just go with like max DPS drones and all in the curse would have been better, I think.
Gotcha. Obviously, significant drone bay on the Ishtar, and it's important to mention for people not familiar with all the specifics of the rules. They can only use T1 combat drones, and they did have some ECM drones floating around as well. I noticed I latched my camera onto one of those and flew around the arena with it for a bit. So, okay, interesting drone choice, maybe not optimal. Apothe mentioned that there's a certain style behind the Afterlife team. You want to touch more on that, Apothe?
Sure. So the Afterlife are those teams that I really love watching each year we come around to the Alliance tournament, in that you have all these super solid teams like your PLs, your Ronins. They bring setups that you just look at them, you go, we've seen this before. These are the yardstick benchmark setups that we've seen before, but they're just so hard to kill because these guys are so good at flying them. The Afterlife brings setups that look like they make sense, like the curse makes sense, Clear makes sense. Everything about their comp made sense, but it didn't seem as solid or as common as a lot of the setups we've seen on the Volta side of the wall, if not that drone setup. But through just amazing piloting and just really understanding just the nitty-gritty, every last inch of what those ships can do, it's amazing. Like in AT-12 even, we saw them bring this Golem Minmatar assault frigate comp. Like this was the year that we saw Marauders a ton, we saw assault frigates kind of still be useful, but it was just flown in such a weird way, and it took down this really solid comp, this really common comp. People were like, oh crap, maybe what? That was it. Like, we knew they were good, but we didn't know the setup would perform that well. And I feel like that's a story we're going to see with the Afterlife a lot tonight, and we have always seen with them. That it's a comp that kind of makes sense, but we don't think is as good as the other comps, but they just fly it so well, understand it so well, that they just seem to come out on top regardless.
Yeah, and that's a perfect setup for my next talking point. I had the immense pleasure of watching a Phantasm for most of that match. Love those ships. Don't see them very often. I mean, they are out on TQ, definitely. But Chester, really quick, do you just want to give an overview of the Sancha hulls thematically, and then talk about why the Phantasm was a good pick in that comp?
Sure. So the Sancha hulls in general have a large bonus to AB speed and also to tracking. So their ability to like hit small targets is very, very high, and with an AB speed bonus, most of the Sancha hulls can forego an MWD, run an AB, and be very difficult to hit, and have like extreme kite ability. In the matchup that we had just seen right there, the Phantasm was an absolute murderer of small logistics frigates because of its huge tracking bonus. It's very difficult to out-track a Phantasm by way of using your MWD in a frigate. And the other reason why it was so strong in this composition was because of its AB. It essentially moves around at such a high speed, especially compared to T1 drones, that there's no way that the Volta team could get any appreciable DPS onto the Phantasm. With a heated invuln and heated AB with links on it, you're looking at a cruiser that has a good resist profile, probably like 30-ish K EHP at least, and is going 2 kilometers a second with like a signature of 30. I mean, it's very, very powerful, and definitely shouldn't be ignored in the hands of a good pilot who knows how to manually orbit and keep speed up.
Right, and if you're on the WeForm Volta side of this equation, you're probably pretty happy to see that Phantasm now gone. Now that Afterlife has won a match with that comp, they can't field it again. So now, of their 7, they had 2 comps banned. They've just won with one of their compositions, which means they only have 4 left on the table to pull from. And interestingly, another one of those comps has, let me make sure I'm not wrong here, yes, has some Sancha hulls in it. So again, you can go to eve-nt.uk and go under the NT Collides tab, and you can see all the comps there and follow along. Elise, at what point does it become a hindrance as far as winning matches can kind of bite you in the ass if you're down to, say, 3 comps and you haven't planned diversity, right? So losing that comp, does it affect Afterlife, or do they still have plenty of good comps to pick from?
I think we were talking to some of the team captains in the last event, and basically what they were saying is we don't have like garbage teams that we hope just get banned out. All of our teams we can win with. Some of them we're more comfortable winning with, obviously, but I don't think you necessarily either team will lead with their strongest team. Like that first win is good; it gets some swagger under your belt, but you don't want to have your absolute strongest team thrown out first. So there's a little bit of guessing, like, oh, what's the second strongest team? Can I take a setup that counters that? And it's kind of a disaster. I think you can like really get inside your own head if you take that approach. So as their team captains were saying, they just take one of the teams that they're comfortable with. All of them can win a match. At least that's what they're all designed for, and they all have experience with each one. So I don't think this was the best team from either side. And I don't think it was like a garbage throwaway team for either side either. I think they both went into this match assuming that this team would win them the round.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that We Form Volta started off with EOS double Ishtar. We've talked about the rule changes in the past to drones, and even earlier today we talked about T1 only for damage drones. We haven't seen a whole lot of drone comps succeed. I mean, there's a drone comp available on both sides. We Form Volta has access to that Ishtar comp again because they didn't win this match, and I think you guys, I'm in agreement, one of those words, that we probably won't see it again. I don't think it's a particularly strong comp myself, but on the other side of the field, Afterlife does have a double Gila setup, which Gila's really strong ships. We've seen them used really well in several tournament settings, but are they good here? I mean, is the drone rule, is it too strong, Chesser, or does a Gila still make sense?
You know, I think the Gila was a super interesting pick because they've gone through some serious nerfs recently, and of course, you know, the drone damage amplifiers are also nerfed, and then to throw on top of that another Tech 1 drone only in this situation, I kind of want to say that they're too weak. However, that being said, the Gila is just a very strong hull in general. I mean, it can be fit with XLASBs if you need it to be. It can have RLMLs and still a little bit of utility high. They're fairly fast, fairly tanky. They can provide tackle. I mean, overall, I mean, it's a strong hull. The drone's on top of it. Like I said, if you can get the web, if you can get a tackle on, and you can hold it, your drones can do good work. I mean, you're looking at great damage selection and the ability to essentially ignore all EWAR. Minus like some like jamming off of, you know, like really heavy jam teams can actually like jam out the 4 drones that you're going to have on the field. But I don't know, I think it's kind of an interesting discussion. I think there's pros and cons either way. I could probably talk for probably too long about like why or why not I would choose a drone setup in certain situations.
Gotcha. We also did, I think it was Chesser that, or one of the two of you mentioned, there have been some changes to remote repairs since even the last episode. And it's been definitely a game changer, I feel like, on Tranquility. It's made Logi a little more complex, at least from a small gang perspective. But we're lucky enough to have CCP Fozzie here. What's up, Fozzie?
Hey, glad to be here.
Do you just want to touch on, I mean, as far into depth as you want to get with this, what changed and, you know, anything that you've seen come out of it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, our goals with a big change to Logi we made in December was to try to make Logi gameplay more deep and interesting, basically to give you more choices to make besides just stay within range as far back as possible. So we added fall off to remote reps of all kinds and did a lot of other adjustments to things like cycle times and fitting. The big change, of course, with the fall off, though, the Logi frigs that we saw in that last match, they're very heavily based on fall off, so they get big fall off bonuses, but very small optimal bonuses. So they're actually only hitting optimal between like 10 and 15 kilometers, but they're still really effective out to like 30 plus kilometers. It's just you have to kind of adjust how close you need to be in to handle the DPS. And I think that's been something that's provided kind of Logi players a really interesting sort of set of choices of how close you want to be, how much you want to gamble your safety based on how much rep you want to give.
Just anecdotally, I can say I cuss a lot more now than I did before those changes, which is hard to believe. Definitely true. So yeah, I've really enjoyed them. I think it definitely is interesting, and we talk a lot about how talented Logi pilots are in these tournament settings, this adds a whole nother dimension there. And Elise, I wonder if you wouldn't mind mentioning the curse. Obviously, you guys did a really great job of talking about how important it was there, but take into effect that fall off mechanic now for the remote reps, and then the reach of the curse and the neuting power of the curse. Were there any mistakes made on the Logi side for Weaveform Volta, or was that curse just too strong?
I think the curse itself is really, really strong in a tournament setting, just because it can apply its damage. It can have the option of Evor, which maybe the Volta team expected that the curse would be more tracking disruptor heavy instead of just pure tank fit with newts, which I believe that's what it was. I'm not 100% sure. But it didn't look like there are any tracking disruptor effects even going off on drones or anything. So, but as you were saying, the curse with the fall-off bonus to newts and stuff like that just means it can reach out further. It doesn't always apply its neuting capabilities further out, but it can like do a little bit of neuting. And when you talk about increasing the sphere of influence of a neuting ship, it just makes the arena that much smaller for everyone else, especially these small frigates that have a really short range and have to maneuver around very carefully in the repping frigates. So what we saw there is the repping frigates were trying their best to stay within optimal and fall off and sort of play that little game, but then the curse just came in and just took a big swipe of their capacitor.
Yeah. With the curse being as medium newt heavy as it was, a single curse newt will destroy any frigate immediately down to 0 cap, and then you're sitting there not being able to move, and you have curse light drones all over you, which are bonused. It's a bad place to be. There is no way that a small Logi frigate can do any repping with the curse on the grid. Like, it just can't get near the curse. It cannot newt anything if the curse is near it at all.
Gotcha. And this, I mean, talking about the changes to these hulls, some of them really do fly differently. Certainly with the Frig Logi, range dictation is so much more important than it was before, and it was already pretty important. But that brings me to another point that we're not going to see in this tournament, but I think it's a relevant discussion to sort of the bigger meta right now on TQ. Command destroyers, which I believe a couple of the commentators are sitting in on grid here. They're a little fun, I think. Elise, what do you think?
That's actually my favorite ship that's existed in the game since the 30-kilometer-second Crow that I used to fly, like in 2009 or 2008 or something like that. The command destroyers, I call them meat bazookas because that's what they do. They just like bazooka fleets around. They're amazingly fun. They create so much chaos in a fleet. You can imagine that they're not really allowed in this tournament setting, just because the ability to blink someone outside of the arena is probably a little bit too strong. But the ships are amazing. Like, they're completely clowny. Just you never really know what's going to happen when you see them on grid. And the best part is, I don't think the EVE players have sort of picked up on their effectiveness yet. Like, we haven't, as a group, we haven't perfected how to use them and to inflict the maximum amount of chaos that we can. But it's coming, and it's going to be a disaster. A beautiful disaster, but a disaster.
And, of course, we also have Tech 2 Logi frigs now. Really, really potent. And I think the combination of the Command Destroyer and the Logi frig makes for some really fun small gangs. But Gorski, I mean, Command Destroyers, do they have a place in larger fleets as well, or is it sort of a specialty item?
I think they definitely have a place in larger fleets. Like, the utility is so strong with them. They can do like offensive use and defensive use with them. And it's like basically giving a Dota Hero ultimate to a ship, and it's like really fun to use them.
In fact, we saw a fight I think last weekend in Losec between Snuff, Shadow Cartel, and Goons, and the Goons managed to blink, like use the Command Destroyers to blink off the Shadow Cartel Logis, like 100 kilometers from the fight, and they couldn't rep anymore. And then the Goons just started to kill Macarios just left and right. They couldn't get any reps. It was amazing.
Worth mentioning that Command Destroyers are yet another thing that increases my curses per minute rating whenever I'm logged in. But I have seen a lot of fun things done with them. At least I think you're exactly right that it's pretty apparent why they would not be allowed in a tournament setting with a 125-kilometer radius. But I wish they would. In fact, I would propose maybe as the next installment of MT Collides, only Command Destroyers. Nothing but Command Destroyers. That would be exciting. I'll definitely talk to Nash about getting that done. Really quickly, because we have to do it. Bay RJ couldn't be here today. He is watching. I think he's probably somewhere in the stream chat. But everyone say hi to Bay. He couldn't be here. Hi, Bay. Nobody else. That's awkward. All right, take your time, Chester. All right, so we're going to get into match 2. Again, this is a best-of-5 series. Right now, Afterlife 1-up after some really nice piloting and a really cool composition. I'm kind of hoping to see this this Nightmare comp come out, but I don't think they're going to bring it this time. At least just go out on a limb here. What do you think you're going to see from either team?
Well, this is going to be hard. I think Volta will probably take a Bargus comp or something. It's really kind of a meat and potatoes sort of, you know what you're doing with this, and it's really strong. And I think, if I had to guess, Afterlife would probably take their maybe Navy Scorpion or a Stardate comp. I mean, that's probably what I would take. Again, it's just a really easy meta, really solid, you know what to do, no tricks or anything.
I would say definitely something cool about a Bargist is it's a ship we've seen before. It's obviously a really strong comp, good projection on the damage. The tackle, I guess, does come into play somewhat, but we've seen them work really well. It's also worth mentioning, really the majority of the Volta setups, I would say, are fairly sensible, really. The Ishtar, I mean, the first team that they fielded, I would say, is the least common setup that they have. And then on the Afterlife side, again, lending credence to what Apotny said earlier, a little bit more unconventional. I mean, we do see common hulls like the Scorpion Navy issue, but to not just have one Sancha ship in a comp, which I don't think we've seen at any point during this season of NT Collides, but to have 2 Sancha setups, definitely interesting. To have the Gila setup, definitely interesting. I kind of wonder if you're Afterlife, do you go straight for the throat? Do you feel the strongest thing that you have, Chester, or do you sort of throw out let's say a mid-level comp, a mid-tier, if you will, and see how Volta reacts? What do you do?
For me, if I was in their situation, I like to try, or would consider to try to win as fast as possible, showing as few comps as possible, and just like really take it to the jugular. Personally, I really hope that Afterlife comes out with the Nightmare team, just because I think that the Nightmare team is very strong against 3 or 4, actually no, like 4 of the 5 setups that Volta could bring, and I think that if they do win 2 in a row, then Afterlife is in a really great position then to just pull, like, the double Scorpion navies, or something like really, really strong that we've seen before, like the Astarte with the double T3Ds as well, and then just finish it in 3.
Again, this is just an anecdote, but I got a little bit lost in YouTube last night, and suddenly I'm feeling really sad that nobody has a slicer on either team, Chester. So I don't know what you've done to me, but definitely looking forward to some feathering and whatnot, whatever the hell that means. So both teams are now on grid. We had a slight bit of a delay. One team, I think, had a small issue, but they're readied up now. Everyone's coming in. Should only be a few more moments. As soon as I get the call, we'll move over in that direction. I mean, how do you think this series is going to go? I think we were all very optimistic about both teams. Obviously, very strong teams. But do you think one bad match, Gorski, is an indicator that a team is kind of on tilt? Do you think Volta's performance in that first match makes you skeptical about these next few?
No, I believe in Volta. Like they have a solid setup that I've tried before. Like most of our setups are pretty standard, and they should train with them. So I think they still have a chance.
Gotcha. And then, Apotny, you've participated in tournaments of various types, and we're going to talk a little bit more after this match about an upcoming tournament that you're going to be helping to host. But how much does it affect you going into a best-of-5 series in something like this when you lose the first match? I mean, does it really throw you off your game, or is it just a motivation to fly a little bit harder, if you will?
I mean, I think for young teams, it can really be on edge. But, I mean, Volta are full of guys with just a ton of tournament experience. This isn't going to throw them. If anything, I'd say it's going to gear on, like, okay, we've really got to get our heads in the game, and they're going to give it even more this time around.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. I mean, we almost saw a clean sweep. I think it was last week. We almost saw a straight 3 wins by Warlords of the Deep, and then they lost one. Can anybody confirm that, or am I crazy? Something like that. Nobody can confirm, so it's all speculative at this point.
Everybody's too scared. Just in case.
I'm not afraid, Nash. I'm not afraid.
I know.
I did have some notes, but I can't read my own handwriting, and the head hurts a little bit today. So just now waiting on the call from Suetonia. Both teams are on grid, looking good. There's plenty of smug opportunity already for Elise Randolph, and the match has not even started. It's a good predictive calling there. let's talk. Maybe this is throwing a little too much away, but Chester, how important are? Well, first off, how do the warp-ins work in a system like this, and how important is it to get lucky on a warp-in for some of these comps?
You know, I don't know if there's like a ton of luck in the warp-ins. It's just more of like how you want to play. Like the match that we saw earlier where we saw Afterlife warping in both of their bursts at max range with their team in mid-range was a really, really smart play compared to Volta running everything warping in at 30, which places you a lot closer. If you're a team that doesn't have a lot of mobility, that wants to brawl, that doesn't want to start at range and is trying to close distance, you know, obviously warping at 0 every time is going to help you there. While if you have a more mixed bag of ships, which is what you tend to see when you have these 5-player teams, warping in at different staggered ranges depending on where or what your team is looking to do really can, I think, set the tone in the right, at least start the match out on the right foot for your team. And you know, those can be some like huge errors that are really, really difficult to pilot out of if you start just like too close to a ship. For example, like the last game.
I've got to cut you off there. Yeah, we do have both teams on grid. We're ready. We're a few minutes behind because of that delay, so we're going to go straight to it. We're going to have Chester and Suetonia commentating this match, and good luck to both teams.
Hello, I'm Suetonia and I'm joined by Chessa. About to see the countdown local here soon. We from Volta have come to the field with 2 Bargas, 2 Bantams, and a Vigil.
And Afterlife warping in at max, both teams warping in at max ranges. Afterlife coming in with the tried and true happy meta of the command ship, Astarte, an Onieros, double Confessor, and a Maulus. The Confessors are beam fit. Astarte, interestingly enough, has rails with armor link, and of course the Maulus is fully damp fit. So I'm going to be excited to see if they're going to be able to negate the DPS coming off the Bargas. Do you think the Vigil is going to be enough to help them apply their damages at all, Suetonia?
I think the Vigil is a very strong ship, but I think it's whether or not these rapid heavy missiles can kill the Confessors before they go into reload.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge play here.
So the match has started now.
It's going to be interesting to see what the T3Ds are going to be doing here. They're definitely going to want to stay in defense mode, especially with the double bonuses that they're going to be getting off the Astarte and the defense mode. They should be really, really difficult to break. No damage as of yet. Maybe the Bargas are just reloading to a better damage type. But oh, I take that back. Here we go. Missiles are in the air.
Missiles are in the air. The Maulus is taking a lot of damage. Leviathan Tank on the other side is taking some damage in his Bantam.
I think it's really smart that the Afterlife is using... Oh, those Confessors are just doing a ton of damage to Leviathan Tank. He needs to be careful right now. He's going to go down. Oh, he's down already.
The Bantam is down.
Wow, that is not good that they lost
and Nero's taking some damage now. It'll be interesting to see how much of it he can.
Great target calling from both of these teams. Volta immediately going for the Onieros, which is exactly what they need to be doing, and Afterlife just killing those Bantams almost immediately. Excellent play on both sides. Great target calling.
Second Bantam, very low.
You know, I gotta wonder...
Down.
Yeah, that's the second one down, Sonia. Tell me, do you think that these Bargas are going to be able to break this Onieros before their reload? Because if they can't, they're going to be in some serious problem.
It looks like the reload is going to be coming up soon.
This is not going to be good. Those Bargas, with the recent changes, have 2 utility highs, so they have 4 heavy newts possible total. If they can get to the Onieros, they might be able to actually get some cap pressure on, but right now they're completely hard tackled by these T3Ds, and I don't see them breaking any of the Confessors, or certainly not the Astarte while the Onieros is up.
The Maulus is taking damage again. He's low structure. He looks like, oh no, he's just catching reps from the Onieros. How important do you think the Maulus is in this matchup, Chessa?
I don't think it's important at all. It cannot have any scripts, and in this brawling situation like this, you know, Bargas being battleships, they have excellent targeting range anyway. So, I mean, yes, it's going to take you a little bit longer to lock ships, but I mean, there's only 5 you need to lock. So, I really am confused why they were wasting very, very precious shots on the Maulus. They're now trying to focus down on the Confessors, but do you honestly think that they can break either of them?
I don't know. It looks like they're applying good damage. Once reps start to catch, I don't think they'll be able to break a Confessor.
You know, if they can
but
kill
looking at
one
the position of the Maulus, it looks like he completely saved Nearest. It looks like they were forced to swap to the Confessors. Because the Nearest is way out, and even though the damps are unscripted, they probably can't lock the Nearest where they are right now.
It's a possibility. I wonder if the Oneros can tank one Bargus but not two, and by completely focusing and damping off one of the Bargus, it essentially is keeping the Oneros safe. Because 70k range roughly, its armor rep, so the longer optimal there is nice. Oh wow, Dante taking tons of damage here. They're playing a very, very dangerous game right now. Dante's down from Alpha. Wow. I have to say, the Afterlife team is very low in DPS, and as they lose Confessors, they're going to be in trouble here. Both of these Bargus are holding just fine. They're obviously designed to be able to function without the Bantams, and it seems to be working very nicely here. One of the Bargus actually is broken away and is no longer tackled by anything. Thereth is just sticking near and providing those heavy newts. I think that those might be hurting quite a bit.
It looks like Head is going down, and if he goes down, I'm not sure if the Soul Astarte is capable of bringing down a Bargus by itself.
I definitely don't think so. The Astarte, being with Rails, really is going to be hungry for cap, and with 4 heavy newts on it, it's going to, I think, have a difficult time doing anything as far as DPS-wise, when it also has to be running links. With both of these Bargus free now and no tackle left on them, this Oneros and Wallace need to be very careful. Drones finally being released here. If they can just hit those Hornet EC300s on the Oneros, the Bargus probably could just focus down. Oh, Newt Cycle's going now down on the Oneros. He needs to be very, very careful here, because those 4 heavy Newts can do some serious work. I have yet to see a Smart Bomb go off, and I can't see any with my ship scanner, but I'm very certain that both of those Bargus are dual heavy Newt fit. It's going to be interesting to see if this Oneros can live before Thernilth goes down, because if this Bargus goes down with the Oneros still left, Afterlife will take this convincingly, because there's no way that a single Bargus will be able to break it. But with 2 still left here, it's going to be a race against the clock. What do you think, Satonia? Is it possible that this Oneros has a chance to live through this Bargus? Because this Bargus is repping really, really nicely.
It looks like they're going down, but it depends on their reloads, I guess. He's still being shot by both of them right now.
Yeah, Maulus falling behind here. Vigil keeping the target painter on. I have to say, Noiser, Nika doing a great job with Oneros piloting, staying alive for absolutely as long as possible. But it looks like the damage has stopped a little bit here. I wonder if they're fully on reload. The question is can the Oneros rep back up to what he needs while under this heavy newt pressure?
Yeah, we're seeing EC300s actually swapped onto the Vigil now as well, so they're trying to get rid of those bonus TPs on the Oneros.
I really think those E3300s going onto the Vigil is a really smart play. It has a much weaker sensor strength than any of the Bargusts, and I think it's a really good idea to actually go for that, because it is going to cause quite a significant drop in DPS with that off.
Oh, it looks like both the Bargusts have reloaded now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this Oneros is going to live too much longer.
Instruction now.
Yeah, that's no good. They had Theroth really low, but he managed to actually rep back up a little bit. Ooh, Oneros down. This is really, really bad news for the Volta team. I mean, for the Afterlife team. Great piloting by Volta. Both of the Bargus pilots doing exactly what they needed to do. Get their heavy newts onto the Oneros and bring it down.
So I think we're going to see the Maulus getting cleaned up pretty soon, and then I think it'll just be Volta just cleaning up the rest of the field.
Yeah, I am going to find it very hard to believe that a single Confessor and a Astarte is going to be able to kill both of these Bargusts. There's no way the Astarte is going to be able to catch really either of them, and he's going to be shooting more and fall off. So he's not going to be able to load like super high damage ammo. And the Bargus, obviously being missile ships, can just do a crap ton of damage from basically any range. Head Confessor going down here. Wow, very close match though, I have to say.
Yeah, it looked quite convincing for the Afterlife at the start when they just headshotted the 2 Bantams with their Confessors.
Yeah,
so it looks like Volta was just able to claw it back.
Yeah, definitely. The Bargusts are extremely strong strips now after the changes. I mean, they have even more DPS, and those double heavy newts, especially with an XL ASB on both of the Bargus. I mean, that's a serious, serious tank. I do need to apologize. I was incorrect. One of the Bargus actually does have a smart bomb, so they are not quad heavy newt fit. My mistakes there. But, either way, Bargus are essentially the shield version of the Typhoon Fleet issue, except just a little bit faster. I wonder if they're actually going to trade a Bargus here, if he's actually going to stick around and... Oh, Bargus down here! The Astarte, it's Astarte Bargus now.
The Astarte definitely has an active rep. It'll be interesting to see if he can...
If he's ancillary rep and doesn't get neuted out, I really wonder if he'll be able to do it. I think he's... he might...
So we have 3 minutes left on the match.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see here if the Astarte can survive under the heavy newt pressure while still doing damage. And if it can rep itself up in between reload cycles, it's going to be really interesting to see here. Mystic Rebel is going to need to have his cat management on point if he's going to be able to get through this.
Yeah, it's working out. The Vigil's taking damage right now, but to win, he would have to kill the Barghest, because obviously the Barghest is worth more points than the Astarte is if the match went to time.
That's very true. That's very true. I don't know why he's
really
focusing on the Vigil, but it is what it is. Oh, great piloting by the Vigil, by the way. Starfleet Commander going towards the Barghest. The Barghest using its smart bomb to try and clear off some of those drones that the Astarte had placed on the Vigil. Excellent play right there. Bringing back in. I don't know why the Astarte was wasting time trying to shoot the Vigil, but
and Mystic Rebel goes on.
Yep, really good fight. Excellent,
really
excellent,
good fight.
Excellent.
One of the bloodiest fights in the series, I think. This,
yeah, really excellent way for Volta to hold it together. I mean, after just like getting both their Bantams just completely shot. Excellent piloting on Volta's side. Both of the Barghest pilots, like huge props there. All right, I think we're going to be sending it back to the studio. I hope that you enjoyed the second match, and hopefully there'll be a lot more to come.
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise-canceling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
And we're back. Wow, what an amazing match. That's certainly, like the commentators already mentioned, one of the bloodiest matches we've seen so far on EVT Collides. And I really enjoyed that. That was really good. Great commentating and great streaming. Very smooth so far. I'm very happy with how everything's going. And with that, I wanted to go and say a quick thank you to everybody that's actually watching tonight. So, you know, we get sponsors and help, and we are able to give away EveBet credits because we get some viewers. And, you know, you guys not showing up would obviously mean that we don't have anything to give away. So it's a bit of a catch-22, but I really appreciate you all tuning in live and watching. and giving us an opportunity to do this show for you. And with that, indeed, we're going to go on to giving away some more EveBet credits. I just wanted to point out one chap here who's obviously watching, Mr. Kali. I don't know if you're in the Twitch chat. If so, squeal for us or something. This guy's just put on a bet on the first match and won it, and put a bet on the second match and also won it. So he's obviously not got specific favorites, but he knows what's going on. I like this guy. He's so far made 900 mil on the first match and 900 mil on the second match. This guy's got to give me some advice, I think. But yeah, before he does that, we're going to go and throw out another question, and Chocolate Rain will give you out some more EveBet credits. So the question is going to be, and you may know this, you may not know this. If you don't, you're living under a rock. If you like Eve Sports, you should know this. When is the first episode of Fight Club? So in Twitch chat, please chuck in your answers. When is the first episode of Fight Club? And there's only one correct answer. And I shall be looking forward to a couple of the correct ones. And whilst we are talking about it, the prizes, obviously the correct answer to the previous question was Apotheny. Apotheny is the EVNT staff member that is also running for CSM, not Bobmon, as I can confirm that indeed Bobmon is not currently a member of staff, although he is indeed omnipresent. Finally, yes, before we move on, and you're going to go back to Mr. Sir Scribbles, I'm going to go to Apotheny. Apotheny, can you please keep it short, but give it about 2 or 3 minutes and tell us a little bit about Fight Club?
Yeah, so Fight Club is what is actually Bayartje's brainchild. Really awesome guy, one of the EVNT guys. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make a tournament that's really accessible to people with less tournament experience, to younger players, so people who really like the tournament scene, who've been watching it for maybe a year, maybe 2, can really step up and get involved without having to face 10 billion-isk flagships and alliance tournament ships and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to still go with the 5v5 format. First match coming up soon. I'm not going to say when it is because the competition's still going on. I'll let Nash say that in a little bit. We're still experimenting with format, with what ships we allow, what ships we don't allow, different modules. I really need to emphasize how experimental, how this is a Minmatar ship, not a Mar ship of tournaments, but I am so excited for it. We've got a lot of new staff coming on. I spent some of the Christmas holiday interviewing new commentators to get, new blood into that part of the scene as well, people talking about the games and having a go, because I'm sure you're all sick of my voice by this point. But I just cannot emphasize how much fun this is going to be, how exciting it's going to be, and I really hope you'll tune in and watch when the first match does come out.
We'll also be having a poll for who wore it better after the season wraps up. So definitely a popularity contest wrapped in there. It does look really exciting, and I'm trying not to put my hand in too many cookie jars, but I'm excited to see what you do with it, Apotheny. It sounds like a lot of fun. With that, I'm not going to wait for Nash to hand it back over. I'm just going to take...
Dude, I just love listening to your voice. It's just so much better when you step up and do it, man.
Oh, well, that makes fun of the Twitch viewers. I'm going to stay true to my acknowledging other people roots here. And on my Twitter feed, I have a question from the ubiquitous Mong, with a G is apparently how you're supposed to say it, listening to the Twitch chat on that one. It's a really a good question, not just for this match. We will definitely get into this match in just a second. But Bob Mong asked about which teams have the endurance to make it all the way through, right? There's still several more episodes. A lot of work goes into this. I mean, not to mention time. Do you think both of today's teams have what it takes to win the whole thing, or do you think one of them would struggle going up against the winners of our previous episodes? I'll start off with Chesser.
It's really. Why do you always start with me? I think this one's such a tough call. Can I pass and come back at the end?
See, this question has the potential to upset people, and I figure we'll just start off with you because you've already gotten that out of the way. So,
oh,
go ahead.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, clearly Warlords are going to take this, no problem. I will be rolling around.
And with that being said, we're going to Elise now. Elise, what do you think? Do you think these teams are all worthy of winning the entire deal, or do you think there's a big experience gaps between the teams?
In a general alliance tournament setting, I'd say there's always a pretty severe experience gap between the better teams, the more dominant teams, and everyone else. Of course, as time goes on, that gap gets smaller and smaller. But in this format, every team seems to be both capable of coming up with good setups and capable of flying them well. Like, I've never actually watched a match and said, wow, those guys are complete garbage. Even, like, to myself, I wouldn't say. I haven't had that chance to say that. So I think, yeah, any of these teams can go the distance. I mean, and a lot of these teams have tournament pedigree as well. Like, more than half of the Alliance Tournament winners have been playing in this event. So everyone's, like, this is just high quality pilots, high quality theory crafting, and just solid decision making.
Suetonia, would you say top tier?
Yeah, I think most of the teams here are top tier, definitely capable of winning the prizes in the Alliance tournament, as well as potentially taking more skins in the Event Collides.
Very nice. Yeah, if nothing else, I mean, all these teams should look really good in those skins that they're getting for winning the matches. So that alone is pretty exciting. Makes me a little jealous. All right, now let's get straight into the specifics of that match. But I did want to acknowledge that question, and I encourage anybody who has relevant questions and/or puns to tweet them to me at EveSirSqueebles. I'll keep an eye on that feed. So we're now 1-1 on the series. Again, this is best of 5 format. So this next match is going to be big, and both teams have lost access now to what I think is a pretty strong comp. Elise, the Smuggernaut himself, called the Barghest being fielded, and you were correct. And Elise, I've actually got another question for you. I'm going to start with somebody else. How about Apotny? Apotny, the Barghest had rapid heavy missile launchers fit. You just tell us why that makes more sense than the alternative.
I mean, rapid heavies just have this amazing burst damage, same as the rapid light missile launchers. I mean, you just get such a crazy amount of DPS, and for a battleship weapon system, even though heavy missiles themselves are generally known to be very poor applying, if you compare them, generally speaking, to battleship weapon systems, they apply really, really well, because they are a medium ammo type. So battleship level DPS on a relatively well applying setup, include the velocity bonus that Barghests get, so they're difficult to firewall. Barghests in general have a really cool slot layout for utility. I mean, it just makes for a really solid comp, and one that we've even seen before. I mean, we saw last week, the week before that against the PL, the Barghests just ate Logifrigs just instantly, and bombers and everything. There is no ship small enough that should not be scared by Barghests with rapid heavies.
And rapid heavies also, rapid heavies and rapid light missiles, but they have an extended reload period, and oftentimes you see really important decisions having to be made about where your limited supply of missiles is spent before you hit that extended reload. Elise made a really good point about how Volta handled the target calling there to capitalize on those rapid heavies. So Elise, take it away.
So we saw that actually Afterlife did really, really good in the beginning. They used their Malas to damp down one of the Barghests from the Volta team, and then just pushed their Oneros really, really far in the back, making sure that the Volta Barghests couldn't do any damage. So Volta, after they reloaded their missiles, after that was over, they both, in sync, started just bouncing between the Confessors for the Afterlife team, and just forcing that Oneros to come in a little bit closer. And the Oneros, they could tell, was dual rep fit. Generally, in setups like that, you have like an ancillary rep, an ancillary armor rep, and just a normal Tech 2 rep. So I guess they're just kind of hoping that the applied pressure in the beginning was enough to make him use the ancillary rep. And as soon as the Afterlife Oneros came in, Volta team just put their hugely bonus target painters from the Vigil onto the Oneros and just fired it down. And you could see how fast that thing died. Like the Barghest is an incredibly strong ship, and it got buffed since the last patch. It actually has, and it has 2 utility highs now. So I mean, we saw you could fit a newt, a smart bomb, 2 newts, 2 smart bombs, whatever you want in there.
Yeah, and Gorski was helping to correct your all's assumptions about the high slots in our in-game channel. And both Barghests did have 1 heavy newt and 1 smart bomb. So originally I think there was speculation that it was 4 heavy newts. It was not, but they still got the job done. Gorski, I actually wanted to go to you to talk about the logistics. You see 2 sides of the logistics coin on field in this match. You see the logistics frigates for Afterlife, which have been pretty popular in a lot of instances, fairly successful in the tournament. And then Or, I'm sorry, that was on the Volta side. I apologize. And then on the Afterlife side, you see the Oneros, which obviously Tech 2 Logi cruisers, hugely popular both on Tranquility and in tournament settings. And that's a huge wall to push through, something that has that much tank. So we saw it go strongly in favor of Afterlife in terms of the logistics. But what was good about the frigates? What was bad about the frigates? And then why was that Onero such a challenge?
Well, with the frigates, I was kind of afraid at the start because the compressors have like beams up to 70 kilometers, just like they alphaed through them pretty much, and they lost both Logi frigates instantly. And the Oneros is like, it's a single Logi ship, but it's way more tanky, and combined with the links from the Astarte, it's gonna like tank missiles really easily with the afterburner running. So I think it was the better choice for Logi in this round, but with the newts from the Vargas, it still didn't matter.
Yeah, and again, those Logi frigates, they move really, really quickly, but the range is somewhat limiting, or it's extremely limiting, really. So tough break for them. I think the Confessors were such I don't want to use the word luck, but I think they were really nice for doing exactly what they did in that match. So well done to them, and was still a close match by the end. That Oneros tanked like a hero. Speaking of tanking, Chester, Lynx. Never a controversial subject. The Astarte was running Lynx in this match.
Yes.
We don't see that as much in this smaller format with only 5 people. It's a pretty heavy investment. You're sacrificing something a lot of times for those Lynx. Was it the right choice, and how much did it affect the outcome there?
I think Lynx with T3Ds just makes them bonkers insane. So I think it was a great call to run Lynx. I have some questions about the Lynx that they decided to run. They ran double armor instead of any skirmish link at all, and I really think that a skirmish link benefits the Oneros as well as the T3Ds more than some of the certain armor links, or maybe even dropping a gun off of the Stardate for that third link. And I know it sounds kind of crazy because the DPS on that setup was already pretty low to begin with, but in a setup where you don't have many ships that can do any DPS to begin with, I think I would prioritize making sure that those ships can at least stay alive, especially alpha-prone ships such as Confessors.
So that setup was not massively mobile throughout the match. Obviously, the fight did move around a bit, but not as much as we've seen in the last 2 matches. So you're saying even though they weren't moving around as much, what benefit would they get from that skirm link?
Well, I mean, there's 2 options you can look at it with. You can look at it with increased speed link, which is really going to help the Oneros as it just burns around away from Vargas or trying to evade a little bit of the missile damage, but with rapid heavies and a Vigil TP, probably not much, but what really would help would be the signature. Lowering signature on the T3Ds when they're in defense mode, which they get a signature reduction already, and then when they're just slow boating around, really can help shave off a lot of missile damage, even from heavy missiles and things like that. It maybe could have been the difference. And that would probably be my only thing. I would have to look at it in EFT, and I could be completely wrong, but that would be really the only thing that I could see in that setup being different.
Gotcha. Elise, do you believe in love at first sight?
I mean, it takes a little while, but I think.
Well, that wouldn't be at first sight then, would it?
No, I don't. I think you need to have an emotional connection.
Right. And in that same vein, is there such a thing as losing the match before you ever hit the field in terms of just picking a meta that does not have a chance against the opposing team? Are there...
Yes.
Is there hard counters that happen?
A lot of it is a lot of rock, paper, scissoring.
You can watch the Mar tournament, watch my match, and that's losing the match before you even get onto the grid.
Yeah, mine too, actually. Let's just pretend that didn't happen, though. That never happened.
It definitely happened. It definitely happened. I'll tweet the link later. We can review it. But so do you think we've seen that in either of the 2 matches thus far, where it was a match that was somewhat lost before they hit the field?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you could arguably say in the very first match, Volta was soft countered by the Afterlife team, but it was real soft counter. I think Volta could have changed it a little bit, changed their tactics and things like that.
So super soft counters. We do have both teams on the field now, so I'm waiting on the green light from Suetonia, and we'll get right into it. They had a really quick reset there. Just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody how much effort has gone in on that behalf of both of these teams, and so far, really, really good series. So congratulations to both of them for the first few matches. I'm really excited to see how it goes. We haven't been doing predictions out loud anyways thus far, but let me just run through and real quick get predictions before you hit the arena. Suetonia, who do you think is going to take the match?
I think my mind is with Volta, but my heart is with the Afterlife.
Gotcha. Fozzie, I'm going to skip over you because I don't want to see the Reddit thread that'll come out of that prediction. Apothme, what about you?
I'm kind of with Suetania. Like, my brain says Volta. Well, it's not my heart. Let's just say another one of my organs says the Afterlife.
Oh, God. Delving into things we never intended to get near.
Well, you're talking about things that are super soft, which I'm certainly not right now.
Oh
and
my god!
Moving right into Chesser. Chesser, who do you think's going to take this match?
God. The puns continue. Listen, I'm going to end that shit right now. Afterlife.
All right, Lise?
I'm pretty sure Volta's going to take this one. I mean, I thought about, before the match started, I thought it was going to be Volta in 4 before we saw any setups or anything. So I'm going to stick with that because sometimes you just got to be hard-headed.
Have you made the hashtag Volta in 4 yet?
No, yeah, actually, I did.
Yeah, please get in on that quickly. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Gorski, who do you think is going to take it?
Easy win for Volta.
Oh, such confidence. All right, with that, Elise and Apothme are going to recreate taking your kid to work day. For match 3 in the best of 5 series, we'll go to the arena.
And we are back with the match 3, a beautiful, near-perfect Mimitar versus Kaldari matchup here. I am here with Elise Randolph. We have from the Volta team Sleipnir, Simi, Svipple with the Purifier rather than a Control Frig, just extra DPS from that. Elise, why don't you tell me what is facing this Mimitar Rush team?
All right, Afterlife are taking their Gila team. It's double Gilas, Harpy, Basilisk, and Jackdaw. So it's all Kaldari Rush versus the Mimitar Rush, as you were talking about, and man, Nan Van Doom will be rolling in his grave if the Afterlife managed to win this one.
I mean, you say Kaldari Rush. Do you think, given the potential range on the Gilas and the Jackdaws, that given that the Mimitar ships are so close range, that the Kaldari team might want to just pull away at the beginning of the match and do damage before those auto cannon ships get on top of them, or do you think it's going to be straight at each other?
I don't know. I think these guys will probably want to rush in a little bit. As we can see, the match started, they are rushing in just a little bit, but maybe those are just screening healers right now, trying to take the Volta Svipples off from their Logi right now.
Oh wow, Thurnef and the Svipple going straight for the Basilisk of Nika, straight on it, getting damage on at the beginning. But Leviathan taking some damage in the Svipple. The Harpy actually being the first main primary for the Volta team, it seems. But whoa, Leviathan suddenly taking a lot of damage, going straight through his shield. There's the reps landing.
Well, huge advantage right now to the Volta team. They managed to get tackle onto Nika Noiser, the Basilisk pilot. Obviously, the Basilisk is going to be very tanky, but I mean, Starfleet Commander Scimitar is just running free right now. He's not tackled at all, so Nika Noiser is definitely taking a beating right now. Look at how much damage he's taking from just 2 Svipples.
Wow! I mean, they sent a Jackdaw back to take care of the Svipple on their Logi, but he is just taking so much damage. There's a ton of drones out here. We've got ECM drones going down, the Harpy taking damage, the Bazzy taking damage. This is a nightmare for the Bazzy pilot. You're trying to keep someone alive, but also yourself. The pressure is high, and you lose the Harpy. It is
all right, first blood goes down. Harpy is down. This Basilisk was trying to keep itself alive and move around. Couldn't swap over to the Harpy fast enough. And that's kind of danger zone for the Afterlife team right now. They needed that Harpy to hold someone down, and right now there's one more ship that's able to apply damage.
The Bazzy managing just back there now, putting his entire focus on saving himself, but that Gila of Mystic going down to half shields. And we're still not really seeing any damage on the Volta team. Cinny's keeping on top of things.
In armor. You don't want to be in armor in the Basilisk right now. Oh, goodness.
I mean, we say that this Mimitar Rush team is such a staple of every kind of tournament, and is showing here how it is so strong. So much DPS, so much tackle, it's so fast, it is so strong. That Bazzy now going into the Bonnet's army, got another shield boost off, but I have the feeling this Bazzy is not long for this match.
Yeah, Nika Noiser is in the Bazzy. He's trying to bait tank a little bit with his XLASB, but Annie guarded the Sleipnir for the Volta team. He's free now. That Harpy was holding him down. He's free to run across the arena, and we can watch that Basilisk melt. And it is gone down right now. Volta showing dominant performance against this Gila team right now.
I mean, the Gila of Head has managed to get on the Scimitar of Starfleet Commander. More ships coming on top of it, trying to get DPS on. It's just starting to burn. But I mean, Volta, it's such a huge advantage. They've already killed 2 ships of their opposing teams, the Harpy and the Bazzi. This may be too little too late, and we see now the Jackdaw taking a lot of damage, and Head in the Gila still at half shields.
Yeah, Head's Gila, I don't know how Starfield Commander actually got tackled. I think he might have just not been paying attention, or this helo pilot's amazing. It's hard to tell. It could be a little bit of both, actually, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter now because there's almost no DPS left on the field for the Afterlife team. So maybe he was just trying to loot a wreck or something, and because I mean, even though it's the test server, you kind of gotta loot some wrecks. Why not?
Yeah, I mean the Gila of Head now going down. Starfleet Commander tanking easily with not so much DPS on him. That final Gila just spanning around, got tons of drones on him. I mean, we're seeing ECM drones here. I'd love to hear your thoughts between ECM drones versus Logi drones. I mean, in non-drone heavy comps, what is your personal preference? Does it depend on the setup, or do you think there's a clear winner between ECM and logistics drones?
I think the logistics drones are really, really strong and are really great things to fit. Even the small ones are good, just in case you manage to get jammed or something. But every time an EC300 is on grid with me, I get jammed by it. Every single time. It could just be one. So it's one of those catch-22 situations. I'm fielding it. I definitely field Logi drones, but these EC drones, I'm sure they're doing something right now. And it is also the worst feeling in the world to get jammed by a single EC300. You just want to take your desk and flip it. It's worse than like a Falcon jamming you.
I so nearly killed a Hurricane fleet if it weren't for ECM drones the other day. I was so sad. And then the blob arrived. I was like, I would have had a kill. But no, we see Mystic now finally going down. Volta bags another win, taking them into the lead. I believe that makes it 2-1, unless I'm mistaken. Volta
but they can't take this
after
setup
that early
again.
loss.
This Sleipnir setup is incredibly, incredibly strong. I think it's probably the strongest one they have. And it just shows you why it's so strong. Like, the Circles made it through, and the damage, and great target calling from the Volta side.
Maybe Suetonius will be able to ask Fozzie about the Svipple and his thoughts on it when we get back to the studio, where we are about to go.
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise-canceling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
And we're back. Another really good match. I think slightly one-sided this one, more so than the previous two matches that we've seen. And I wonder if this is possibly a death sentence for the Afterlife. I wonder what the guys think, and I shall look forward to their comments very, very shortly. But before we go there, I'm going to throw away a little bit more monies. So Chocolate Rain may or may not contact you if you have actually won anything. Please pay attention, and if you are on Twitter, you should definitely know the answer to the following question. So your answers, please, in the Twitch chat. Which one of the commentary team is best known for his Eve pickup lines? So again, the question is, which one of the commentators is known for his pickup lines? That's only one. So I shall look forward to a couple of correct answers there at least. And Chocolate Rain, the poor victim of said chat up lines, will forward you the correct amount of monies. But that's it for now on the little giveaways. I shall look forward to what the team has to say on this match. Please, Mr. Squeebles, take it away.
Thank you very much. And I've actually been the recipient of a few of those pickup lines early in this process, so I was involved and uncomfortable the whole time. They're quite good. He has a real talent. So a lot of things went right there for the Volta team in that match. First off, I want to start with the obvious comment. Svipples, not bad. Not bad, Svipples. Suetonia, I just want to touch briefly on what makes the Svipple as strong as it is, especially in a setting like this.
Oh, it has for guns has a lot of DPS, very good tracking, very good resists. It's very fast too, and it also most Svipples, they tend to have a lot less micromanagement than the other T3Ds do, so it's a lot easier to fly on top of that. And in fact, an interesting fact about the Svipple is it's one of 4 ships that have been picked by every single team for a comp, and it's the most banned ship in Even T Collides.
Definitely strong. Definitely have caused a lot of. I don't know what the right word is. The Svipples get noticed on Tranquility as well as in the tournament. Generally, not in a positive way. A lot of other things interesting about this Mimitar comp coming out of Volta. Obviously, Mimitar Rush is something that has existed since the dawn of tournament time, or very nearly. Elise, what did you like about this Volta comp in general? I mean, was it balanced? Was it non-cap dependent? Like, what are the highlights of this comp?
I mean, it's kind of beautiful in the way its simplicity and stuff like that. So you have the Sleipnir, which does a lot of damage and has capless guns. It's very fast, and it gives your entire fleet links. Then you have the 2 Svipples, who can get you tackle. And we saw that these Svipples were so slippery, they managed to get basically an instant tackle on the Afterlife Basilisk. And that's the reason they won the fight. They just were able to pin down the Basilisk and just apply damage. And then, of course, you have the Scimitar, which can be highly maneuverable and apply its reps from a very long distance away.
I wanted to transition that into, speaking of tackle, obviously we saw, I think we had some really nice camera work going on of those Svipples going in for that Bazzi. They did get the early tackle, really nice piloting, but where was the tackle? Where was the counter tackle capability on the Afterlife team? Was it on the field, Chester, or did they not even bring it to this match?
Well, I mean, the only counter tackle that the Afterlife really had in that situation was the 2 Helos and a Harpy, and a Harpy is very slow, and so are Helos compared to speed mode Zipples. With the heated MWD, you're looking at over 4K a second. One of them slipped right by, probably before it could even be locked, and once a Zipple slips by your main line, there's no way, even if you do turn around to try to go after it, that it's not going to grab your Basilisk. The other Zvipple, while it was held down admirably by that Harpy, was easily able to shake the Harpy off, and then once it was there, you know, 2 Zipples with hail loaded, and with all of their small newts and nosses, they're going to do close to 1,000 DPS and selectable damage if they want to switch, if they want to go to like EMP or something, and that's going to kill your Logi very quickly, and that's basically what happened in that match.
Gorski, Gilas, would they be a problem in other matches, or were they just a problem in this match? They didn't seem to perform very well.
Well, I'm not really a big fan of drone setups with only T1 drones allowed. Like, I think it limits them very much with this rule set. So, like, I wouldn't want to see them in another match.
Right, and I believe it was Suetonia pointed out, and I think all of us sort of as soon as these teams were on grid, I think there was a silent consensus that the upper hand was with the Mimitar team. There were some newts coming off of those Gilas, which might have been effective on some other hulls, but newts onto the Svipul, as Suetonia said, not particularly useful. Those Svipul's were still able to do their job. Somebody else brought up, and I apologize for forgetting who, but we see there what I think would be considered a weaker comp from Afterlife, versus what is really, as Elise said, I think one of the strongest comps available to Volta. Was that deliberate? I mean, was there a meta game going on there, a choice to field a slightly weaker comp? Apotny, what do you think?
I think that the comp works and it makes sense. And I think that just if Afterlife could be happy at all for losing a match, they've got to be happy that that Mimitar Rush team is gone. Because, I mean, you look at the Volta comps, and don't get me wrong, they're all, like, really solid, strong comps that they've got left to use. But I'm glad that it's not the final match of the tournament and the Mimitar Rush is still there, right?
Right. The, sorry, I'm getting pings. Nash, your typography is terrible.
I'm sorry, man.
But yes, I am headed that way for sure. So as we mentioned, CCP Fozzie here today helping us do all the magical things that we as laypersons cannot do. And I've left you alone, Fozzie, because I like to believe you're very busy. People coming in and out and needing things from you constantly. But what have you thought about these 3 matches so far? I mean, any themes thus far between the two teams?
Oh, I think they've all been very excellent. I do think the Gila team from Afterlife was a little on the weak side, but again, if you're going to use one of your weak teams, it's fine to use that as the one that loses to the Sleipnir team, like you guys have been saying. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Afterlife take some more matches here. They've been piloting really well, but Volta seems a little bit stronger.
Apotny, why did that bomber survive that match? The bomber on the Volta side. Is a Purifier renowned for being tanky enough to survive, or was that maybe some bad target calling?
I think that the Afterlife team just had bigger issues than worrying about a bomber. I mean, even though they're shield tanking, so your 6 bigger, like kind of fast cruisers can mitigate bomber DPS, especially without target paints. I mean, the tackle makes it more difficult. I mean, I don't know what I would have sent after the bomber. Let's say it stays out of drone control range, then the Harpy died almost immediately. So do you send a Jackdaw after it when you're trying desperately to get tackled down on Logi? Like, it would have been really cool for a really snap pick-off at the beginning, but I mean, if you're down and you kill a bomber, you're not then ahead again. It really felt like the Gila team was losing from the very beginning, and killing a bomber doesn't swing the match. It's a way to confirm a lead, but it's not a way to swing it back in your favor.
Gotcha. Elise, talking about piloting, you've participated and flown out of the arena in multiple high-profile tournament settings, and I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about, is there a difference? So hypothetically, let's say the Bargas comp that was fielded earlier, is there a difference in intensity level or a difference in skill and decision-making required if I'm flying a Bargas versus flying a Svipul? Is one innately more difficult, or is it just apples to oranges?
I think the smaller ships are definitely play a much more important role, and you have to be a better pilot. It doesn't mean you have to be a smarter pilot or make better decisions. You just have to be able to weave in and out and get to your target. Because that's like essentially in this match, the Svipuls were the linchpin of the entire Volta team. Like if you can pin down the opposing logistic ship, then you instantly win. If there were worse pilots flying those Svipuls, they would not have been able to tackle a Bassi as fast, and the match may have swung in a different direction. I mean, probably not, but in a closer match, they definitely would have been everything that you need. So the smaller ships play, I think, the most important role, which is one of the many reasons I don't fly smaller ships in the Alliance tournament setting. Though, to my credit, I've never flown out of the arena in an Alliance tournament before. Never once.
Really?
Well, only in a New Eden Open. Though at that point I was anchoring my entire fleet and took my entire fleet out with me. So sure. I mean, you could arguably say that's kind of worse, but.
Well, I call that TNT style, the old anchor
exactly.
Fly them out.
So would you say you're a worse anchor than TNT?
I mean, TNT never went out of the arena with everyone, so I guess I have to.
Well,
be
they
right.
went out of the arena when they lost the tournament, but it was a slow burn for the Edge of Glory. Chester, if they ever make a feature-length film about your life involved in tournaments, who would you want to play you?
I'd probably have Andrew Driver, the guy who played Kylo Ren, play me, and I would like him to be kind of like Kylo Ren, and I think that's who I would think would do it best.
All right, important talking points. We're hitting all the most important information today. Let's talk about Potney wants to push us a little more toward talking about the comps that are remaining, and I think that's definitely a good discussion. For the Volta team now, the Bargus composition is out. The Sleipnir composition is out. So now they've won 2 matches. They only have 3 comps available. They have a comp that starts with a Vindicator. They have an EOS composition. And they still have the Astarte Oneros Confessor comp that they lost with in the one match. So, Potney, it was your idea. What do you think Volta is going to field out of their 3 remaining setups?
I mean, I'd love to see the Vindy comp, because I'm just a really big fan of big Galente blasters, but I think that the Astarte comp, the command ship, T2 Logi, double Desi, Frig comp, that is just such a staple of the Collides tournament so far, and that's the reason. I think if Volta want to play it safe, they bring that comp. If they want to push it, they go for the Vindy comp, and I think if they want to throw a match, they bring the EOS comp again.
And I think Vindicators we've seen in tons of tournaments, but I don't recall it having been fielded other than in the Warlords match. I think Warlords ran Vindicator into Sleipnirs, maybe something like that, and I think they did it rather successfully. So it'd be good to see that. Everybody likes looking at a Vindicator, I think.
Oh, they had a similar setup with Cruels instead of NUs.
Crewers, the strongest ship in the game. I'm being told that we're not too far off from teams coming into system, so just a few more minutes now, we'll get to the last match. This could be the last match of the tournament. What does it feel like deep down, Gorski, and whatever organs you have? What does it feel like? Drumsticks, let's not. Does it feel like this is going to go to the maximum number of matches, or does it feel like Volta is going to close it out?
Well, looking at setups Volta have left versus the one that the Russians have left, I think Volta should have the upper hand. I really want to see the Vindicator setup with the Sentinel and either missile TDs or normal TDs.
Right. I personally would like to see this Nightmare comp. Fozzie, what do you think of the remaining teams if you have everything in front of you? What do you think would be the most comical matchup of the remaining compositions? Does one stand out to you as being a particularly interesting square up?
I mean, I think for most comical, it has to include the Nightmares from Afterlife. Nightmares against anything other than the Vindicator team, because that Sentinel would mess them up really hard, and that would just be kind of one-sided. But yeah, I guess Nightmares versus the Astarte team would be my ideal, hilarious and awesome match.
I'm being told by Bing T in the stream chat that I have no right to claim that I know what ships are good and what ships are bad. So, Bing T, I challenge you to a crewer face-off. You bring a crewer, I'll bring a Sleipnir or something, and we'll see how good they are.
You're in trouble, mate. You're in trouble.
Well, that's what you think, but I never travel alone. So, again, just a few minutes off, one team in right now. How do you think, Chester, how do you think this series compares to other series that we've seen? We did mention there's only been one weekend that I would classify as being a little one-sided. Other than that, I mean, are these all sort of ships and hulls and decisions that we've seen made in the past, or is there anything this week that's a big game changer?
I mean, you see a lot of things that we've seen before. Like I was saying earlier, Afterlife bringing something that's generally not as meta, but otherwise Volta staying pretty much tried and true. The only thing that I really found interesting was these drone comps. I mean, drones have consistently shown to be in this 5v5 tournament setup pretty garbage. And the fact that both of these teams, being as good as they are, decide to have field comps that are drone boats. Yes, you can be running out of ideas, by the time you're at your 5th comp or 6th comp. But I don't know, I just think that a little bit better could have been done there. But otherwise, for the most part, these are super strong teams. They've had a great showing, and the matches have been great so far. So, like, you know, I guess that's kind of par for the course when it comes to Event T.
Elise, we've seen a lot of rapid light missile comps, obviously really strong at killing off tackle and then sort of dictating the spaces in the fight. We don't really see that from Afterlife. I'm looking through it now. I mean, we see the Typhoon Fleet issues, but they do have that Gila comp. Don't have a rapid light comp. Is there any obvious explanation for that, or do you think that might have been an oversight?
Well, the Orthers got nerfed a little bit. I do think you absolutely have to take a missile team that's really good. I mean, they have a Navy Scorp team, which I'd imagine would be rapid heavy fit. Maybe we'll get to see that, because that's, of the teams remaining that they have, that's probably one of the stronger ones. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, Volta didn't even have a really good rapid light setup. They had one, which was just a pure kite setup, which is incredibly annoying to fight. It doesn't mean it's a really good setup, but it's just very annoying. But I mean, in this format, I don't think rapid lights are that strong. Rapid heavies are absolutely beast mode strong, which is why both teams correctly banned out the Typhoon Fleet issues from each opposing team. And I think it speaks a lot of volume as to what they think about the drone teams. Each side had a drone team, and neither side decided to ban that team. So no one really thought it was going to be very strong. Volta banned the Sleipnir team of Afterlife and the Typhoon team, and Afterlife banned the Typhoon team and the Orthros team. So they just kind of let those drone boats through.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, I think they probably feel pretty good in that decision now, looking back at the matches that we've had so far. I'm curious about Frigg Logi pilots. We keep harping on this, but they show up every week. Important to mention again for people not familiar with the finer details of the rules. You can only use a ship in one composition. So if you have a burst in one of your comps, you're not allowed to put it in any of your other comps, which I think is really interesting. And I think a lot of people know the strength of Logi Friggs, but certainly if you didn't buy into them before, just that limitation of not being able to field the same T2 Logi cruiser over and over probably pushes people a little further toward the frigates. How do you think they've performed today on the whole, Apothny? Do you think it's been a good investment from the matches we've seen, or have they been kind of lackluster?
Yeah, I mean, Logifix, this really cool decision, because you're spending 2 of 5 pilots on Logi rather than 1, and that's like a really big pilot investment. But they're so low point, and they're just so effective and so good at sig tanking that they make a ton of sense. And you can spend your rest of your points on really big things like faction battleships, like we see in that Typhoon Fleet issue, Hyena, Frigg Logi Inquisitors. The problem is, when you lose one of them, they are both dead instantly. But as a pair, as I think Elise said earlier, they are so incredibly powerful if flown well. It is insane.
All right, and we have both teams now on field. Already some interesting things, which I'll not reveal until we get on the field itself. But the amount of smug in here is getting really uncomfortable. A lot of people making some fairly accurate predictions. And this does look like it's going to be a great match. I won't say much more than that. Just waiting on the green light from Suetonia, and we'll get right into it. Again, this is a best-of-5 series today. Right now, We Form Volta is up 2 matches to 1 match on Afterlife side. So this could be the last match of the day. I hope it's not. The more matches, the merrier, in my opinion. Suetonia, are we good to head over? Maybe. The silence I'll take is no. Upcoming Apothny and Gorski, you guys are going to be commentating on this next match. Awesome. So real quick before we go, I'm just going to grab predictions and then we'll send it over. Okay, Suetonia, who do you think is going to do it?
I really like Afterlife setup more than the Volta setup in this case.
Gotcha. Fozzie, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I kind of like Afterlife setup in this matchup pretty well, too.
I'm going to say the same. Obviously, I want more matches, so I hope Afterlife evens it up, too. Apothny?
Afterlife have the best hull in the history of Event T. It's the best comp, just by far. So
I don't see any Navy Dominixes on field, though. I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. Okay, so you're going for Afterlife then, Apothny.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, great. So enthusiastic. The impetus of youth. Chesser, who do you think is going to take it?
Afterlife for show.
For show. Rubbing a little funk on that one. Elise?
I mean, everyone else cheated. They are looking at the setups right now, but I'm going to go with my initial prediction of Volta in 4. So I think Volta are going to take this one.
Hashtag Volta in 4 living on. And Gorski, what do you think?
I'm gonna cheat a bit and say the Russians are gonna win Afterlife.
We've just dropped the name entirely for you. This has totally turned into a nationalism thing. All right, that, we're heading straight in. Good luck to both teams. I'd love to see it go to the 5th match. If not, we will be coming back and wrapping up, but it's going to be a good one, no matter what. So straight to the arena.
Okay, we are back. It is me, Epiphany, with CSM rep Gorski Kar for this incredible match of the best team in the history of UNT. It's a Scorpion Navy team. I think you should know my love for the Scorpion Navy issue. We have from the Afterlife dual Scorp Navy, dual Claw Vigil, claws to grab what the SNIs want to shoot, Vigils to paint them, and SNIs just to go blap, 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 blap. Gorski, tell us about the Volta team that will inevitably lose against the might of the Scorpion Navies.
So we have Volta with the Fairboy setup with a Vindicator, 2 Angels, Sentinel, and a Guardian for reps. And interesting note is like all the support ship are really close, and the Vindicator started a bit back. Like I'm not sure why I did that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting that we are not allowing missile disruptors, I believe, at this stage of the tournament until the next round. So that Sentinel does not have missile disruptors fit if it's legally fit. So the Scorpion Navies are going to have a much easier time comparatively. The match has started, the claws burning straight in. We got the Scorpion Navies at the front, they're burning in, and the Volta team is just
Volta is chilling back.
running.
They're burning back. With the Vindicator burning in towards the Scorpion Navies, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, do you think the Scorpion Navy should shoot Vindicators? Like, do you think you can break the Guardian without any links?
Maybe. It's like a heavy DPS ship, but I'm not sure. And the both Enyos have managed to screen off the claws here, so we'll see if they'll die. And Afterlife are on the Guardian right now.
Yeah, Guardian going straight down. Looks like the Enyos are going after the claws, trying to get them down, trying to get the tackle off. That Guardian isn't seen to take a lot of damage. If it's 100 MN fit, which a lot of tournament Guardians are, it is going to really well mitigate damage, especially if the claws don't manage to get tackle on it. It looks like that is burning off now quite well. It's not tackled at all, you're right.
And they're forced to go for the Enyos on swap targets, and with that said, the one claw goes down for Afterlife.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the Scorpion Navy is well into their first reload. They do not have a full reload to now break Guardian reps. They're going to have to wait, reload, put it on something else, and in the meantime, they're about to lose their second claw.
One interesting note here is that the Vindicator actually has neutrons out on the Scorpion Navy issue. We'll see how effective those are.
That is super interesting. I've been really wanting to see more use of different E-War drones in the tournament and on TQs. There goes the second claw. I mean, I think the Afterlife have been going for this Guardian for too long. It's just not worth it, guys. He's way out of your range now. He completely mitigated all your damage. They're going to be stuck in reload, and that Vindy is going to absolutely go to town on the SNIs. It's right going on top of them. Looks like it's got a web on the first Scorpion Navy of head, and he's going to start taking a ton of damage. There we go.
Yeah, it's hard tackled by Vindicator, right? Like, and with the Sentinel, if he newts him and the neutrons could put this like cap down at 0, they should be able to break him if they're lucky. And with that said, Enyo's taking a lot of damage now. Where's the Guardian?
Yeah, man. I mean, the Guardian flew so far away to mitigate that damage. They've swept onto the Enyos. Going down to structure, just catching reps now. Guardian so far away. The reps are so small. In fact, no, the Guardian has actually burned in. I am mistaken. It's right back in close. The Enyos still burning through its structure. Galenta ship's got a lot of structure. It's struggling, but it is repping hard.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to survive, but there's some damage on the Sentinel, so it's swap damage a bit. And the Scorpion's still tanking pretty good, but I think it's going to go down eventually.
Yeah, I mean, Scorpion Navies can tank so much. If you run an ancillary and a large shield booster in 5v5, the only way to kill it is to really just make it run out of cap charges, as we saw in the Pandemic Legion matches where they brought the Scorpion Navy set up 3 times. Sentinel now taking a ton of damage. I mean, personally, I'd be really interested to see, just an experiment, whether the 2 Scorp Navians can kill a Vindy under Guardian reps without any links, but I don't think we'll be able to see that today. They're just not believing they can do it. Maybe they've tested it and it just doesn't work.
Another fun thing here is like the Sentinel and Vigil are having their own only like honor 1v1 down there with newts and ECM drones and versus TPs, and neither's like doing any much damage to each other.
Yeah, Scorp Navy now past half shields going down past its peak recharge. It's going to be a lot of trouble here unless it starts boosting. It needs to have a booster unless it has been capped out by that Sentinel. The Sentinel, as you say, though, is down there with the Vigil. They're having a little fight. It's just keeping the Vigil out of the fight here. But, I mean, Scorp Navies really need to bag themselves a kill if they want hope of coming back.
Yeah, right now it's not looking very bright for Afterlife after it couldn't break the Guardian with the Scorp Navies.
Yeah, it looks like they're still going for this, trying to get rid of the assault frigates, but I mean, just the SIG tank on assault frigates, even with MWD on, they can go so fast. I mean, it's just so hard, and without those claws to hold ships down, they can just go so fast, and the rapid heavies will do nothing to these frigates.
The Sentinel is actually taking a lot of damage now from the Scorpion Navy.
Afterlife just hammered me wrong instantly. They don't kill anything in the entire match until I say they have a problem killing stuff.
With that said, like the Volta lost their Sentinel now, so they don't have any neuting power or ECM drones on the Vigils anymore.
Yeah, Head still in a lot of trouble. Scorpion Navy of Tortured's actually staying fairly close to the action. If I were him, I would burn away from the Vindy, so at least if Head dies, it'll take him a while to burn onto them. They're shooting at this Enyo here, Enyo going down. Afterlife making this a bloody fight. They're not going down without a fight. That Scorpion Navy lasting so long, only now just hitting its armor tank after being DPS'd for so long by a Vindicator, which puts out so much DPS. There we go, into the armor. Oh, I think we've lost Gorski, but the Scorpion Navy is still going. Oh, sorry. Scorpion Navy still going down into structure. Big battleship loss. That's going to make the Guardian so much more powerful here. I mean, the Guardian may have struggled to rep against the two Scorpion Navies, but against one, it's going to be absolutely fine. If this Scorpion Navy doesn't magically get a ton of boost, I think we can call it for Volta here. I mean, this Enyo taking a lot of damage here. Whoa! Is the Guardian paying attention?
Vigil goes free, like with the TPs, they can suddenly apply damage to the Enyos again.
Whoa, that is a massive turn. The Scorpion Navy repping like a boss here. Enyo catching reps. It's so difficult to keep him alive. He was just in the bottom of structure. That was so close to death here. Scorpion Navy ahead, regaining some shield. We're seeing some massive flashes in space. I'm not sure what those are.
Looks like smart bombs, I think. It might be some ECM thingy. They should be smart bombs.
On the Scorpion Navy, I'm not sure what the new animation is. Maybe CC Fozzy can confirm it for us later. Scorpion Navy going back down. It might be on a reload of its ancillary. Still trying to kill the Enyo, but the Enyo is now plenty close to Guardian. Guardian max wrapping it.
Once the Scorpion Navy goes down, it should be no problem for Enyo to tank. And he's in deep structure now. He's in trouble. The wind is probably gonna finish him soon.
Yeah, the Endo is, for some reason, people don't expect it to tank as well as it does. It's got that local rep bonus, obviously the great T2 resists of Galente. Scorpion Navy issue finally going down.
Structure.
It's 1% structure.
There it goes. And that should probably be it for this match, actually. Like, I don't think the lone Scorpion Navies with rapid heavies can break anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Volta, they lost the first match, come down with 3 straight wins. I mean, Afterlife have made them work for it, but Volta have come out here on top as the winners of this series. I mean, really great match. Afterlife with some really awesome setups, with some really cool ideas, really superb piloting. I have no doubt we will see them in future tournaments, the Alliance tournament, player run tournaments, whatever. Great guys, great pilots, but the victory goes to Volta.
Yeah, it's interesting. That Enyo is like so close to dying. It's only 10% structure left before we manage to catch the reps.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think pretty much everyone predicted the Scorpion Navy issue team would win this match once we saw it. Gorski, why do you think the Scorpion Navy issues lost after we thought it would be such a clear win for them?
Well, honestly, I think they failed to manage to kill the Guardian. He was like 100 mm fit and perfectly pretty much countered their missile damage. So that's probably why they won with active tank and 100 mm.
I mean, do you think that After just didn't expect 100 MN AB? I mean, to my knowledge, 100 MN AB Guardians are like fairly common in the tournament scene, and Afterlife have been doing tournaments for quite a while. They got quite a pedigree there.
Well, I think Volta, like, they managed to screen the they close perfectly with their Enyos as well, taking both down really fast. And Afterlife doesn't have any Logi, so they couldn't like rep the close once they got tackled and killed. Then they have no way of holding down the Guardian.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were, as you say, relying on those claws to hold down the Guardian and kill it, which is why they got it first. But when they were screened so expertly, they already wasted half a reload cycle, and that put them behind. Because, I mean, with rapid heavy teams, if you don't do something with your first cycle, that is a huge loss, as you're against 5 full ships, and you're not outputting any DPS anymore.
Yeah, especially when like pretty much all your DPS is coming from these 2 rapid heavy ships. So it looks like really, the Boys are winning.
Yeah, the Boys are in fact. I mean, as I said before, really well done by the Afterlife. I cannot express, like, even though they lost, how much respect the chat and guys watching should have for them. They've been such a great team. They've done so well, but unfortunately they have lost to Volta. I'm super interested to hear what the analysts are going to say. The Scorpion Navy is repping for all it's worth, so we're going to just have to fill airtime.
1 minute left,
sorry. Yeah, like, 1 minute left on the match.
I have to give props for Afterlife. They brought some like really interesting setups with like Phantasms and Nightmares and all these like random ships you never see in these tournament setting, versus like Volta's pretty much standard setups.
Yeah, they put on such a great show. I mean, like Afterlife have made it really fun to watch from oh wow, that's a really cool thing, and Volta have made it really cool to watch from this is how you play, this is solid, this is standard, we are defining what event teams should be doing, what you should be following. And I mean, really, for all the guys that are looking to be in Fight Club, look at the Volta teams here, look at the fitting decisions they made, look at the whole decisions they've made, and you should be really basing how you think about tournament team setups from that approach, rather than going for crazy off-meta stuff until you really get a good grasp of what's going on.
Yeah, it's better like perfect piloting with some like basic standard like Minmatar Rush or like SNI Brawl or Vindicator setups. They like to try something totally new, like bring a Drake or some shit.
Yeah, and I mean, it also means that if you know it, also likely what you're going to face. So it means that when you come up against something, you've already practiced both flying with and flying against that setup. So your experience just increases so much more quickly than trying random, oh, hey guys, we've got this Drake Navy team that's going to be really awesome, so we're going to keep practicing that for a week and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. And like when you train with standard setups, you can train both setups. You train 2 setups at a time instead of like one bad and one good.
Totally. That is the end of the match. That was Gorski and Apotheny casting. What is the final match of this series? So we are sending it back to the studio.
Are you sure there's the final match?
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise-canceling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
Cool, and we are back, and that was the final match of this particular series. A very good one again, and thanks to Suleiman Shawa from the Tuskers for pointing out that indeed every single series so far, so that's Hard Knocks versus Shadow Cartel, Pandemic Legion versus Tuskers, Warlords versus SSC, and Afterlife versus Volta, have all ended up with the score 3-1, which is an interesting one. I am very much looking forward to the commentary and the feedback from the rest of the guys after that last match. We've had a quick discussion here in the break and some good, interesting comments. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I am going to take this opportunity, despite that all betting being over, obviously, for this particular series. We do have a little bit more money to give away, and why not? So if you're still hanging around, please do so. We do have Starfleet Commander at least joining us very, very shortly. Give us a bit of feedback from his side of this experience, and so I'm looking forward to hearing about that as well. But before we do that, I'm going to give away a little bit more ISK. So Chocolate Rain, get your eyes open. Let's see if we can get some correct answers for this one as well. As it is indeed Council of Stellar Management season, we will have another appropriate question. The question is, how many members make up a full CSM? So how many members make up a full Council of Stellar Management? Type in your answers in the Twitch chat, and Chocolate Ray will pick up the first 10 correct answers and give you 100 million ISK of EVE-Bet credit, which is amazing. Yeah, again, great commentating from our team here. Really, really good job. Thank you very much, Gorski, for stepping in there in the very last minute. Indeed, I wanted to lots of wrong answers. Jesus, are you people paying attention? Terrible. Just a quick one. I wanted to point out, just because I feel like I have to. Obviously, we have quite a few sponsors on board. Obviously, EVE-Bet's one of them that help us with some remuneration in terms of cost for the staff, and the ginormous team that we actually have on board. 14 people that are working with us this evening to make this show happen. But also the real life sponsors. So we have Plantronics, we have Cooler Master on board, and these people actually donate gear. So we have keyboards, mice, headsets, that kind of stuff, and all these items, as you can see by my cheap £10 Argos headset, are not used by our staff. They're actually going back to the players. We give these back through the charity raffle, which we do at EVE both in February and in September. Which reminds me, indeed, the next EVE is this coming February. We're spreading it over 2 days this time. It's going to be on the 19th and the 20th of February, which starts off with a pub crawl on the Friday, which is the 19th, and then we have the full day of EVE as you're used to on the Saturday as well. Tickets are still available. We are selling out very quickly, so if you live in the UK, or even if you don't, you want to come over for this, and you want to come for this, once tickets are gone, I am really, really sorry. I cannot give away any more. It's just maximum capacity of the venue. So make sure you get your tickets. They are available. Just pop onto our website. It's www.evetacnt.uk. And with that, and after all my plugs, I'm going to give it to Sir Squeebles.
Thank you very much. All right, so obviously a great match. That is the end to this best of 5 series. Congratulations to Volta. Really nice job by Afterlife. That last match was looking like it was going to be different than it was, I would say. I think a lot of us expected those Scorp Navies to win it. Okay, except for the hashtag Volta and 4 crew, which is consisting of only one man, one very smug man. So several things to talk about. It's kind of hard to pick an order here, so let's knock them out one at a time. First off, Gorski, what did you think about that Vindicator warping in at some range?
Like, it worked out fine for them, I guess, but what I really like is how the Enyos got owned in that match.
Duly noted, Inyo ownage. There was, speaking of Inyos, there were 2 claws fielded on the Afterlife team, and we did talk a little bit about this as we were transitioning back to the air quote studio. Chester, what the hell?
Exactly, what the hell? How you choose a claw as your tackle, and then go so further as to have that claw be tackled by an Enyo. Questions. questions, Sir Squeebles. Questions.
So many questions, and we're not going to answer them all here. Maybe after the show. Just a quick note from where I was sitting. I did notice there were Newt drones in that match. Fozzie, how often, I mean, I guess in Tranquility as well, how often do we see energy neutralizing drones used in PvP?
Not a ton. I've seen them, sometimes carriers will carry them as an extra utility option, but you don't see them a ton on TQ. Probably the tournament you see them more often than in normal combat. Because it's not unheard of to see them in tournaments. They're definitely a minority choice, but especially if you have a setup that can really use some extra neutralizing, they can be a good way to stuff that in.
Speaking of drones, at one point, again, this is a little bit later in the match, I know we want to get to talking about this Guardian, but there were 2 flights of ECM drones sent out after that Guardian, and immediately one of the Inyos from Volta followed those drones out and started killing them off the Guardian. I thought that was a really clever choice and definitely speaks to the level of decision-making and sort of forethought. It seemed to work out for him. That Guardian didn't appear to get jammed for most of the match, so nice call by that pilot. Also, did anybody else notice the Scorpion bumping that was happening? No? Just me?
Yeah,
yes!
I saw one of the Scorpion Navy issues go in and try to bump off the Vindy. He wasn't able to get it too far away, but I think he contributed to that point towards the end of the match when the Scorp that was getting primary, the first one, was able to rep himself back up. Basically, he got off his reload was his structure at the same time as the Vindy got bumped away and probably got out to like 12 or 13 kilometers off.
I was really optimistic I would get an Elise Randolph moment and say I was the only one that noticed something or had something right. So good thoughts, Fozzie, but next time let me think that I'm unique and I noticed something nobody else did. So I thought it was a good decision. Obviously tough to peel somebody out from under Vindicator webs, but big props to the pilot tortured Velocity. At least a good effort, at least holding some composure until late in the match. Unfortunate that it didn't work out differently for him. So let's talk about that fight that was happening way on the boundaries of Hothny. The Sentinel, you've committed your Sentinel out to just one ship on the Afterlife team. Was it worth it to have the Sentinel out there shutting down the target painters? Was it a good call?
I mean, the entire way the Scorpion Navy used their DPS is with that Vigil. That Vigil dies, their team does not apply any DPS to anything but the Vindy, and then they have to kill a Vindy, which, I don't know if you know this, it tanks fairly well. Under Guardian reps, I mean, I think it was absolutely worth it. I mean, sure, it could have neutered the Scorpion Navy and maybe helped turn off its tank a bit sooner, but I think it was a really good, solid choice to just get those target painters off, just get rid of that damage application, and just take it slow, take it steady, and take the win they knew they had.
Definitely, I think it was a wise investment. It seemed a little odd, but your EAS taking out the target paints from the Afterlife team, I thought it was a really nice call. That being said, get right to the meat of that match. Elise, the Guardian, was it the linchpin or was it just some good piloting?
I think the Guardian is actually the only reason, well, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons that team won, right? So on paper, you see like, oh, there's a bunch of tackle frigates, there's a painter, there's some rapid heavies. Of course, the Lodge is going to die. But no, the Guardian was 100 MN AB fit, so it doesn't matter if it gets scrammed, it still goes really fast. It has a very tiny SIG when it does that as well. And the missile damage was pretty much almost completely negated. And we saw the Afterlife team just commit both of their claws, which they were using as heavy tackle in this instance, which is very difficult to do. They committed both of them to basically a suicide mission, to just get an initial tackle on this Guardian to hope that it wouldn't be able to tank more than 20 or 30 seconds. Unfortunately for them, they got one suicide scram on the Guardian, but no one really cared, and the Guardian just kept on moving about, and then the claws got screened off by the Enyos and just murder zoned.
Fozzie, to that end, the Scorp Navies committed a lot of their missiles to that Guardian, and I think it was really before the target painters had been completely turned off of their Vigil. How tough is it to make that call once you've picked your primary and you see it not going down? How much time can you spend on a rapid heavy setup before you have to swap to something else?
I think it was a really tough choice in that situation, partly because you need to know that getting that Guardian down would be a huge deal if you can do it, but also, there wasn't really any other great choices. If it was a match where, say, they had a recon ship or something, that would also be a great ship to shoot at with the rapid heavies, then yeah, that makes the choice a lot easier. But if you're not going to shoot at the Guardian, you've got frigates or a Vindy that's getting repped by a Guardian. Neither of those are very attractive choices.
Well, yeah, exactly right. I think that's one of those scenarios where you watch, and certainly not the most experienced of tournament pilots, but it seemed like being between a Vindicator and a hard place there. First and foremost, though, excellent job. I say first. I guess last and foremost, though, excellent job to both teams. That was really, really awesome, and we have the good fortune of having Starfleet Commander here on comms. Hey, Starfleet.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, couldn't be a whole lot better. So, congratulations for a good show today. Hard fought.
It was just really fun. It was great. Enjoyed myself. Good. Especially the last match and the Vargas one. Especially the Vargas one. That was hard.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. I mean, how did you all... The Vargas match was obviously a real back and forth. It kind of... There were several turning points, and you all ended up coming out on top, I believe. How did that go? I mean, what were there mistakes made? Were you guys calm, cool, collected, or?
I think the Sorel, Starte, and Confessors really knew that they could project a lot of DPS at range, but I think Phantoms were a bit surprised at how quickly they sort of died. You know, they died really quickly, and I was surprised as well, so I thought, oh god, here we go, I'm gonna die next. But I managed to get further enough away and the transversal up and stay away from something was chasing me. I can't remember what it was, but I was fast enough to get away. Yeah.
And then obviously you were piloting the Guardian there in that last match. Were you at all nervous during that entire match?
When in that match, it's a question of can you tank the clip from the Scorps, and I counted how many shots I was shooting, and then I reloaded when I reloaded my AAR when they reloaded. So I reloaded 3 times in that match, for example. So they couldn't kill me. They would never kill me. Unless,
sounds like a line from an action movie.
As Chessa or someone said, I was listening. They rushed the claws in, and we screened them. Yeah, so. That was their only. If they got a web on me, then I probably would have died. Application would have gone a lot more, but they rushed them in. We expected them to rush them in. I'm going to say we expected them to bring that setup anyway, so we kind of guessed that they would bring that, and they'd have to rush in their frigates to get on me. If they don't kill me at the start, then it's going to be really hard to kill me in any other time on the match. But they killed an Enyo and some other things. I got webbed, so. Yeah.
Speaking of expecting a comp, why warp Vindicator in at the range you did? What was the reason behind that?
Because, I'll just say it, because it's got a micro drum drive on it.
Ah,
there
okay.
we go. It's
you heard it here first.
OPSEC, everyone knows the secrets now.
In fairness to me, so Elise obviously predicted Volta in 4, but I did have a zoom in on my camera of that Vindicator, and I was about ready to tell the camera operator to swap to me because I was waiting for that spool up. Obviously, it wasn't necessary there, but I was hoping that would be the case. So aside from this series, and it really was a great weekend, but we've had 3 other fantastic matchups thus far. What advice would you offer? You guys obviously as a group have a fair amount of tournament experience, but we do have the NT Fight Club coming up. It's aimed at a slightly lower skill threshold. What advice could you offer to other teams thinking about getting into tournaments?
Well, honestly, especially in these 5v5 formats, you got to do some research. That's the first thing you should do is watch lots of matches. I mean, obviously, because we were the last match of the series, obviously we watched, Chessa's match, and we watched PL's matches. You got to, see what everyone else is doing, and then just get from there. I mean, most of the time in the setups that we posted and Afterlife posted, there's a lot of setups there that were very, obvious to submit. So most of the time, you get a lot from just watching other people, and obviously the Fight Club's just meant to be a bit of fun. So. Don't take it too seriously. It's just a bit of, it's Tech 1 ships and things, so it should be great fun.
And speaking of Fight Club, you're actually going to be one of the commentators for Fight Club matches. Is that correct?
According to Epiphany, yeah.
Okay,
Epiphany's given the green light.
All right.
I had to write a massive essay to say why I should be a commentator, but he went over it and he said yes.
Well, I'm glad that you got the green light on that, and good luck. Look forward to watching those matches. I guess to any of the other commentators, it's unfortunate we couldn't get a team captain from Afterlife on, but anybody have any questions for Starfleet about the entire series?
What do you think really went wrong in the match you lost? Like if you could change one thing about that.
Well, basically, we called the wrong target. Should have chased after the burst. We spent a lot of time chasing after the burst, which wasn't happening. Came close to getting one, but if we could do that again, I think we would just piled onto the cursor and drawing them in, because that setup really didn't have much DPS. Relied everything on the curse to get rid of the Logifrigs. But honestly, to be honest, losing that match wasn't a big problem. Honest, because it's not a big loss. You know, like in this 5v5, losing one match could be actually a positive, though. But yeah, basically we should have not wasted time going for the bursts and maybe focus on the primary and bring the bursts towards us and then maybe snag one, you know.
Gotcha. Anybody else questions? I'm trying to keep an eye on the Twitch chat as well. Obviously there's a bit of delay, but if you guys want to punch in any questions for the commentators or for Starfleet, please try and do it quickly so we can get it turned around.
I have one question to Elise.
Oh no.
Did you call me NSA Beavis on stream?
No.
Elise?
No.
Someone told me that you did.
No, he was saying something else. I was like, I was responding to him, I swear.
I watched that back because then NS Beavis came into our channel and started to...
A lot of things that get said on stream are said in moments of passion, and I don't think we should hold it against anybody except for Chester when the Reddit thread comes around.
I do have a question though for Starfleet and your entire team. Were you kind of hoping to see the Nightmares? Were you like super sad when it didn't show up?
Well, yeah, honestly, like the Nightmares would have been the ideal situation with the Sentinel, but the Scorpion, any battleships, the two battleship setups they have, I think. I was pretty confident that we could definitely beat that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think the Nightmares. I was a bit, you know, because the Sentinel could really deal with that quite big. The battleship isn't going to track very well of the Sentinel, but yeah. I look forward to the next series as well. By the way, against Uchesa, should be good fun.
Yeah. So. Nash was supposed to mention it, but forgot amidst all of the other things that he was mentioning. But we do have two semifinal matches are now locked in. And obviously, as you just said, We Form Volta is going to be up against Warlords of the Deep. The other is Hard Knock Citizens versus Tuskers. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So those are going to be amazing. I mean, these first four series have been really, really good. And I expect the semifinals will only get better. Every team that participated this season, obviously worthy of being here and put out some great matches. But I think the teams here in the semis are really going to step it up even further. So with that, guys, we are winding down. Starfleet Commander, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us, and congratulations again. And with that, my final sign-off, thanks to both teams for such great effort. Thanks to everybody doing what they do. Nash, awesome show. Bile, you're my hero. And CCP Fozzie deserves a huge thanks. Hopefully I'm not stealing Nash's role here, but Fozzie, thank you for making this magic happen, and sorry for not quizzing you a little bit more. With that,
problem. Glad to be here.
Nash, back to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Again, Mr. Sir Scribbles, for a wonderful show. You are absolutely amazing. I am your biggest fan, and I can't wait for the next episode, truly. Indeed, I'm going to keep it super short, so thank you very much for everybody that's worked on this show. Producing for you tonight was Mr. Sutonia. From CCP himself, we've got the wonderful Mr. Fozzie that's helped us out in the background there and did all the magic. Of course, I already thanked Mr. Scribbles, who did your hosting this evening. The streaming this evening, again, done by Mr. Biohazard himself. Absolutely wonderful, very smooth stream. I think everybody was very happy with what we put out tonight. Our commentators and analysts, we have Apoth, Chesser, Elise Randolph, Gorski Car. Obviously, we have Chocolate Rain that chucked out all the prizes tonight. Quick thank you to all our sponsors. Obviously, EveBet for the in-game prizes. We have Plantronics and Coolmaster for their donations to the charity pot at EVNT, which is going to be in February. Make sure to check out the website. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and we will see you again very, very soon. 24th of January for Fight Club, and then on the 7th of February for another episode of EVNT Collides. See you then.